First ball up is going here today. Mitch Rod and Michael D. Fabrizio here in the box. We're going to hear from Max the Axe Hollingworth in a few minutes' time as well, who's going to have all the numbers for us here today. We might go downstairs for the first time today as well for Fatty Boomba. And John Hollywood's down there. Johnny, how's the conditions looking down at ground level?
Oh, look, that's wind obviously playing havoc already here at this oval. But the facilities, congratulations to Dale and his team and everything else. Those rooms inside look fantastic. It's up and about today, so it's going to be a great game. Merbein won the toss. They're obviously going towards the old number one oval there in that regard, but obviously we're at centre full with Imps right now.
Thanks very much for that, Johnny. And Jaden Fox, who's kicked 7 goals in the opening 2 games of the home and away season, lining up for the Green Machine just outside 50, pretty much directly in front. What a great start it would be. Decides to run off the mark. He's got an overlap run with a handball and a shot at goal on the burst. And I think it's across the face there from Will O'Dwyer, one of the gun recruits for the Green Machine, across the face, and just a minor score. 1 behind for them. Merbein yet to score on that Coomiella Club scoreboard.
Yeah, yet to score. They did have the first clearance through Scott Bedford, the Pies, and unfortunately the wall in defence for Imps. So
just a second.
Kick down the wing, goes to Lockall. It's off his hand, spills out the back. Lurking's Lockyer. Tries to just tap it and go around Callaghan, but in gets away from him. Kick from Smith off the deck. It's picked up by the Imps defender and taken over the boundary line. So we're going to throw in the forward pocket for the Pies.
All right, we might try Maxie now. G'day, Maxie. Welcome, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Harry, Mitch.
All right, it was always a pleasure to have you alongside us. Let's start with the Imps today. And who are the 4 players you're going to be keeping a close eye on for the numbers?
Cooper Ogden, Bryce Hards, Willow Dwyer, and Tallis Buntain.
Now, you saw a few of those last week in last week's game, Maxie, and Tallis Buntain in the end, 26 disposals for him, 133 fantasy points for him as well. He was obviously outstanding for Imperials.
Yeah, he dominated throughout the back line last week.
Riley Buntain, older brother and best and fairest winner, gets the ball out, and now Lasky, one of the Gun Queensland recruits who came down a couple of seasons ago, handballs off, not hitting the intended target for Merbein. Bedford's down at ground level, had Rhodey with him as well. In fact, he's going to be pinged for holding the ball. Brad Valance, the Imps coach, will get a free kick and a 50-metre penalty to go with it. Let's have a look at the Merbein players you're going to be keeping an eye on today, Maxie.
Vinny Rhodey, Nigel Lockyer, Scott Bedford, and Carl Stevens.
Beautiful, thank you for that. And Bedford looks like he's already got a couple of touches to his name.
Yeah, he has 2 possessions so far.
In just under 3 minutes of game time is pretty impressive. Valance's kick at goal was smothered on the 50, intercepted by Michael Hooker. His kick was smothered in turn. Hard for anyone to gain possession at the moment, but big man Riley Burns did well. Fitzpatrick shrugs the tackle. Took a bit too long with the handball, DFAB. It's going to be pinged. Bedford gets it again. Yeah, good pressure from Bedford. He's been very lively early in this game. He opts for the handball to the runner, so it'll be sent out to the wing. It was in the direction of Pettit, but recovered for Imps by McHugh. His ball inboard doesn't find a teammate, but Penny recovers nicely. He has a short ball there into O'Dwyer, who's had a couple of touches early, and he'll send this one towards the 50-metre arc. Big switch. It's just taken on that 50-metre paint there by Hards, who kicks inside, but it's chopped off there nicely by Michael Hooker. Hooker, 30 disposals last week, 7 contested possessions, 76% efficiency, 8 marks, 6 rebound 50s in the game against Wentworth. It's certainly been a breakout season for him so far. So the Magpies just short chains through Rhodey and now Donahue. Centre wing commentary side of the ground. 4 minutes gone in the opening term. Imperials 1 behind. Merbein yet to score on the Coomiella Club scoreboard. Chips down the line for Lockall, who finds himself a long way from home. Try and get himself into the game. Boots it long. Lockyer's got the sit at the back if he can read it. And on the second bite, almost Buntain. That's Tallis Buntain did enough to bring it to ground level. And at the feet of the contest, Pettit's wrapped up by Lasky. It's only about 15 metres from goal, DFAB. Tight angle in the pocket there for the Pies. Yeah, an opportunity close to goal here. Although it looks like we've got Lockyer in the ruck up against big Riley Burns there. So giving away a hold, I think. Yep, it wasn't an advantageous situation for him. And the ump says the ball has to come back. In fact, the free kick was it to Burns, so that's why we're going to get a reset. Last line of defence for Imps. They'll try and clear it out of their defence. To the pack, sitting at the front is Ricks. Big fly from behind, spills out though, and a kick inside 50 there from Harradine to the pack. It's marked by Lockyer. Quickly, handball side. I don't think it was paid. Snapped by Rowe. Very nicely. Did not what we expected with that one, but it was the right choice in the end. Absolutely, it did. As you said, Lockyer had to get the ball off quickly. I think it was touched off the boot. And a good kick in the end from Rowe. It just judged the win perfectly, heading outside the left point post. whipped its way back in nicely. And first blood on the new deck here for Imperials goes the way of the visitors. Merbein, 1 straight 6. Imps with 1 behind on the board. That's on the Cumula Club scoreboard in this first term on Hot FM Footy, brought to you by the Euston Club Resort. John Hollywood for Fatty Boomba on the boundary. It's been a rough and tumble game so far, but both teams looking to put some speed on the ball.
Yeah, look, very much so. Plenty of speed, no doubt about that. And the contests are really hard. You notice young Rixie in the ruck there. I call him young, but Rixie's got cleaned up there before early on and off the play, that sort of stuff. He's walking wounded at the moment, so I'll keep an eye on him. But the ball's moving around pretty quick.
I reckon that's going to be a key matchup today. Is Rix v Burns in the ruck defab. It's going to be a huge one in the save of this contest.
Absolutely. Big volume hit-outs and hit-outs to advantage players. So it's a free kick out of the middle going the way of the Pies. And a big roost there from Hills goes to the one-on-one where Lockyer was front position, but a thumping intercept from Riley Buntain. Callahan lays a nice tackle, has to jump over the man though to try and recover the footy. It'll be held up directly in front of goal, about 30 metres out from the Merbein end.
Great start of the season for South Mildura, 3-0 to start the campaign, 149% on top of the table. Mildura in second, 2-1. Merbein also with the same record. So Lockwood takes it out of the ruck and is tackled immediately by Burns. Didn't like a bit of treatment on the way down. And big Riley, the big bonce of his, is quite happy to give it back where it came from. 35 metres from home for Merbein. Dumped out of there by Burns. It just gets away from Buntain. Good handball from Dusha. Pettit just put a little bit too much mayo on it. Lands in the lap of O'Dwyer on the last line of defence.
He's been very active early, O'Dwyer. He goes for the running hand pass. Will probably call for it back and does indeed receive it. Although he's under pressure quickly. Handball back to the teammate
nice.
there. Spins out of trouble. They're working it up the wing with a nice chain of possessions here. The kick comes from Hards to the one-on-one contest. The coach there in Valence scrambles nicely to just work it forward a little bit more. It's not wet weather footy yet, but they're certainly doing the 1% plays at the moment. And the kick inside 50 is marked nicely there, and Imps will get a shot at goal through Regan Scott.
Reggie Scott, who started forward this season, I think has made a bit of a name for himself as a leading option coming out. But what about the kick from Brad Valence going inside 50? His efficiency over the first couple of games for Imperials has been outstanding, the veteran. So Scott looking to be the first goal kicker for Imps on the new home deck. Mark it down in the history books. Imps take the lead, 1-1-7. Merbein, 1 straight 6 on the Cumula Club scoreboard. 8 minutes gone in this opening term. We're on Hot FM Footy for Collie and Tierney, First National Real Estate.
There wasn't the slickest of ball movement there from Imps, but they just did what had to be done to keep the ball moving along, and that chain of possessions in the end got it from end to end, and a nice goal.
Johnny on the boundary. Yeah, we go for it, mate.
Yeah, what about O'Dwyer then? He was in that passage about 5 times, right from the back pocket, right on that last line of defence, and all the way back up to half forward on centre wing. Hard matchup for Harradine. Harradine's obviously playing in the seniors. They've gone back. He's got Scott, so big job.
Will be a big job for him. And I just might ask you too, Johnny, do you like the move of Regan Scott going forward? He's obviously made his name as a defender, but could be a good option.
Oh, I think he's a great option. I was watching before, because obviously I was watching that match up earlier to see where Mick Harradine was playing, and just watching the way he was moving. He didn't get some of the leads before, but he certainly got that one then. He demands it, so he's very, very good. Typical defender when they go forward. They know what to do, don't they?
They certainly do. As there's a free on the 50-metre arc for Brad Valence here for Imps. Go to the left of your radio dial. That's a beautiful kick. Jaden Fox. I don't know what he ate for lunch, DFAB, but I reckon there's a bit of a stench around him. No defender was within 5 metres. In fact, in this semicircle of Magpies, takes uncontested mark, will line up for his first of the day.
Yes, important for Imps that they get Fox involved and on the scorer sheet early, because he can really tear a game apart.
6 goals, in the opening game of the season. Just the one last week against Mildura. You know he knows how to find the goals. I reckon he got a bit close to the man on the mark there, and that breeze certainly took it further away on the right-hand side. Sneaks through for a minor score. 1-2-8 for the Green Machine. Merbein, 1 straight 6. The Cumula Club scoreboard. Mitch Rod, Michael Di Fabrizio up here in the box for Hot FM Footy. Max Hollingworth, John Hollywood also bringing you the action here today. Shout out to our man Benny Ridley, who unfortunately got stuck at work here today, but hopefully he's listening in on the radio dial as Hooker runs out of defence. Long kick down the line, carries well enough. Handball inside is good. Chance for Stevens in the long sleeves. Sold his teammate into a bit of trouble, and now Imps on the rebound can go. Got to flick it forward quickly. Stevens back in again to bring it to ground level. Needs to try and find a loose man. He's got one. At the back, it's Bull. Left foot kick down the line. Trying to get to the front of the pack. There was Trooper Bedford. Good follow-up from Angus Smith. Could be twins out there, Smith and Stevens in the long sleeve and the blonde hair. Punched out of defence. I reckon he might have caught one high there, Caden Handstock, and he's going to get the free right half back just inside the 50.
So Imps will reset. Look to send it up the wing that successfully led to their last goal. That one was to a pack where numbers were fairly equal. Scott Bedford's looming for the Pies. I think he does get his hands on it, but he's wrapped up. And
back to the back, I think.
It's a free kick. So to the advantage of the Pies now, they'll get a chance to reset on that far side wing.
Well, we know it was impressive in their first win of the season, DFAB, was their tackling pressure. Merbein, it was down a bit last week against Wentworth, just the 19 tackles for them compared to 29 for Imperials. So you feel like, especially if the wet weather footy comes in this afternoon, that's going to play a big role. Absolutely,
as we see an example there of, we've got a holding the ball. Which way is that going?
It's going to Merbein.
So they'll get possession of the footy just on the 50-metre arc or just outside. And a good chance looming here, but Buntain is going to Lockyer. Buntain's been, Riley Buntain that is, been fairly active early in chopping off some of the forward forays, and he did so just before as well.
Well, between the Buntain brothers, they're going to try and, I reckon, have a spare man in defence as often as they can. Imperials, that's where they like to load and go from there. And Riley's just sitting in the hole at the moment, making sure Lockwood doesn't have space to lead. Meanwhile, Lockyer, left half forward, about 55 from home. Gee, it looks pretty good off the boot. It's across the face, though. Gee, it has just carried. It looked like it was going to pitch inside the line of the boundary, but has carried over on the full. So will be a free kick going the way of Imperials. Gone about 11 minutes in this first term here on Hot FM. Thanks to the team at the Euston Club Resort. Johnny Hollywood on the boundary for Fatty Boomba. Any other matchups that have taken your eye so far?
Oh, look, the centre forward, centre back, obviously Buntain against, Lockyer. That's the most important matchup on the day, isn't it? Either one of those tears the game apart. That side wins the game for me.
So looking forward here, Imperials. It's Riley Buntain. He's got the short option here in O'Dwyer. Had a bit much on it. Well done there by Lucas Pettit, who in the contest able to bring it to ground. Played a big tackle as well. Keep it inside the forward 50 here. Might go over to Max the Axe Hollingworth. And Maxie, Scotty Bedford's been busy so far in this game?
Yes, he's had 4 possessions so far.
And what about Will O'Dwyer for Imps?
He's had 5 possessions so far.
Certainly getting into it early, those two. A couple of prime movers for their respective sides. Bottom of the pack there, Lockle just gets a handball away in time. Rowe, it's pouched away from him. Little bunt kick in the end from Bryce Hart's, just had a bit too much on it, out on the full. The pressure from the Magpies has been good. Michael Hooker to bring it back inside 50.
So Hooker, who's can send the ball a long way. He's about 60 metres out, opts to try and just nicely work it into the pocket, but with the breeze going on today, that's a difficult task, and it blows straight into the fans on the hill.
Very much the Naz kick, wasn't it? The Messiah Wangadine
Yes.
Miller outside of the boot pass, and the idea was good. The wind just decided to have a bit of a say in that as well.
Yeah, probably on another day, that would have been perfect.
Just the one goal on the board between both sides so far is Simon Callahan. Dangerous kick across defensive 50. Bryce Hart's just done enough, I think, to ensure it goes over the boundary line. So again, the pressure from Merbein early is good inside their forward 50. With Lockyer and Bedford's swarming. Ricks with the tap down into space. That's a good gather though for
free
Imps.
kick.
No, there's a free kick in the ruck, and it's going to go the way of Matty Ricks. So the big ruckman for Merbein, almost directly in front, only about 20 metres from home. Should be a gimme here for the big man, but it's an awkward breeze to deal with at the moment, DFAB. Looks like it's going across the 11th Street side of number 3 oval. Hard to judge out there.
Yeah, he's going to have to navigate it nicely here, Ricks, but he comes in, not too much of an angle to speak of, so drop punt. He starts at left and probably thinking it would blow back, but in the end, it went fairly straight, so just a behind for the Magpies.
Well, we normally get worried about players getting too close to the man on the mark. I reckon Matty Ricks is almost at the other end of the ground when he tried to put that one through. Nonetheless, just a minor score for them. Merbein 1-1-7. Imperials still leading 1-2-8 on the Kumiala Club scoreboard. Kick out of defence, though, is intercepted by Michael Hooker, who again is on fire so far. Decides to have a ping towards goal off one step. Lockle.
Oh, he's juggled it. I reckon he's juggled it over.
He has. It looked like he had position to take it. In the end, Alex Douglas, I think, did enough just to get in his way. As DFAB said, parried it to himself. The ground level and across the line. So all square at 1-2-8 apiece in this one.
As McHugh runs it out of defence, just goes for the short ball. And another short kick.
It's O'Dwyer again.
O'Dwyer, so getting involved. Hand pass, a lot of run now, and they're moving it. Burns gets the 1-2. but might have actually gone over the boundary line in the process. So Ibs had some good run there, looking promising along the wing, but in the end just too close to the line.
Showing some good speed though, Willow Dwyer, quite happy to take the game on at the moment. Of course, another one of the Noosa connection here for the Imperials. It's the kick inside. He's looking for a man in the middle in Cooper Penny. He goes past him. He's got Pettit for company. Well done there by Penny though. He had no one around to give it to, unfortunately. Roseham back was good. Page took the contact coming, retreats further to Rhodey, around the corner towards the 50 arc. It might sit here for Donahue. Tries to tap it to his own advantage and probably could have done a little bit better with that Jake Donahue, but nonetheless, out of bounds, right near the 50 arc, in front of the brand new centre here for the fans. And it's great setup, isn't it, down there, DFAB, near the social rooms. Goes nice and deep, especially if the rain comes in this afternoon. That'll be packed.
Absolutely. Nice social area at this ground as through the ruck contest, the two rucks end up on the deck scrambling after it, but it spills out the back there to Ogden. And in the end, just a high ball.
It's gone backwards.
Has just launched up and down, and it's spilled out in the end to the advantage of Ibs through Toby Galbraith. It's being run out now through Ogden. His ball just trying to get it to space and hope for Valence to get to it, but in the end, Ibs recover. And the short ball not effective, so it goes back the other way. And again, Ogden getting involved, does a bit of a don't argue there. His ball just bounces towards 50 and wasn't to their advantage in the end.
Kicks come out from defence from Merbein, and Dwyer again spearing bullet pass inside, but well read by Nick Harradine in defence. Takes the intercept, creeps it towards the boundary where Bedford's got his hands on it once again. I reckon he's had half a dozen disposals already in this one. Had to move all the way around the ground. Plays on, gets a good shepherd from Hooker. Long down the line, Rick's the target. Buntain at the back though, had his name all over that one. That's Riley Buntain. Of course, John Groves medal winner and best of fairest. Nice little bit of a Berber spin in there as well, no look. But in the end, the kick down the line didn't do any good. Jack Ferraris takes it, John Hollywood.
Yeah, just the biggest thing I'm noticing at ground level, boys, that run from defence for him, it's creating real problems for the Merbein forwards. Obviously, they're chasing after them really hard. But if you have a look at Merbein's full forward at the moment, he's huffing and puffing. He really is. Big fella struggling.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see whether or not that fitness level will play a part coming in the rest of the game. That kick long forward was looking for Lockall, but again, the Breeze taking advantage of it and over the boundary line for a throw in. 17.5 minutes gone in this opening term, 1-2 apiece. Hot FM Footy brought to you by Colleen and Tierney, First National Real Estate.
Comes in, tap down to the advantage there of Merbein, but the boundary line beats the hamper, so we'll get another throw in just in front of that social room. There's a bit of back and forth after the event. There's going to be a whistle in there. It was Rowe getting tangled up there with the Ibs player, and they'll get the free kick in defence.
So Jackson Penny's got the ball in hand, goes across defence. We know Imps love to switch the field of play. Windy daylight today, it could be awkward. It's Tallis Buntain. It's his first touch of the day. Kick down the line, works for Callaghan. Now Fitzpatrick gives the overlap run on the bounce. Nice pick up here by O'Hare. Wheels and goes, but intercepted by Kyle Stevens. Takes the mark. Having a look through the Sims team today, DFAB, but I don't know if I've ever seen a team with four players with the surname starting with O in there. You got Willow Dwyer, Cooper Ogden, Paddy O'Brien, and James O'Hare going through. So
yes, but you got to remember it's the team in green. So
yeah, very Irish.
We're watching an Irish national team game, I think.
We certainly are. I think there's a 50-metre penalty being paid here for Merbein. It's going to be Rhodey who's got it. Man on the mark is right on the 50.
And he just assesses his options, not in any hurry. Waits for a minute. Hooker's lurking at the other side of the 50. Awkward off the boot. In the end, it's just going to be a foot race. Lockall tries to get there, but it'll beat everyone because the wind just kept carrying it towards the fence. And we'll get another throw in front of those social rooms, so plenty of opportunity for the fans to give some feedback down there.
Absolutely, and I reckon that will as the day goes on today as well. Burns in the ruck against Nate Bull for Merbein. Thrown in. Imps big man taps it down. He follows up as well. Too good handball for O'Dwyer. Gets a 1-2 here with Riley Buntain. Switching handball's dangerous. Tallis Buntain, don't argue. Just got it away in time. O'Dwyer handball's off again for McHugh. Little kick down the line's not great. Cut off here by Vinnie Rhodey just outside the forward 50. Told to go now. Trying to find a way around. Handball for Stevens. Didn't do him any favours. Has to tap it backwards. Nice work there by Hills. Going to the first tackle. Just the second. Nah, he said he was legged in the end.
That's it.
Maybe he got a bit lucky there. Noah Hills bit off a bit more than he could chew. But either way, it's going to be a ball to the Magpies. 20 minutes gone in the first term. About 65 from home.
Just opts for a short pass towards Scott Bedford, who gets a nice push in the back as he takes the mark. But he'll be kicking from just outside the 50-metre arc. Just goes short.
Clever.
Has a teammate in space there. It's Rhodey again, is it? Getting involved in that forward half of the ground, and he'll go back from about 30 metres out, slight angle.
For Fatty Boomba, John Hollywood on the boundary. Johnny, I reckon that seems like with this breeze today, that might be the way to work inside 50. Look for the short options rather than go long.
Yeah, look, it does. It's obviously some of the kicks. But once they get used to this wind, and certainly in the second term when Imps are going with it, there's no doubt about the players can kick it up in the wind and get another 10 metres. So you can actually get a lot of goals if you put up in the wind and know exactly where to start it, though.
So Rhodey, been a good comeback for him so far this season after some injury interruptions the last few years. Looks pretty good off the boot, just narrow, however, and across the face. Merbein retake the lead, 1-3-9. Imperials 1-2-8 on the Cumula Club scoreboard. So Maxi and DFAB will see if we can go and get some scores from around the grounds soon, as Alex Douglas takes the ball out of fullback for Imperials, tries to get a clearance out, and again another intercept mark. It's Bedford for Merbein again. What a start to the game he's having. Just sits it up high. Lockle one-on-one with Burns. Off the fingertips. In fact, it's actually going to go across the boundary line. Probably not a bad result in the end for the Magpies.
Absolutely, yeah. Bedford really generating a lot of inside 50s for the Magpies, and obviously it's a bit of a tough just to hit a target from that distance, but just put it in the right spot to make a contest happen, as Lockle takes it out of this ruck contest and kicks it into the car park. So it wasn't quite the intention there, but it'll be Riley Barntane to take the kick in the pocket to restart things. And definitely the wind is being felt. Just one goal apiece in this game, and definitely impacting proceedings so far.
1-4-10, I beg your pardon, for Merbein. Imperials 1-2-8, Cumula Club scoreboard. It's Buntain. Spilled the ball, but was able to handball forward. Found a man in Cooper Penny, and again, the short kicks that Imperials are used to aren't working right now. Cut off by Rhodey. He gives it off short to the resting ruckman and Nate Bull. He's going to line up a goal. Only 20 metres out, about a 45-degree angle. With this wind, won't be an easy kick. Finds himself in unfamiliar territory, DFAB. Found his name really as a centre-half back a couple of years ago. Spent pretty much all of last year out injured, but now maybe a mobile ruckman to back up Matty Ricks.
That's right, and a chance to really have an impactful first quarter goal. Starts it left and bends it back perfectly, and it's an important goal for Merbein, because it's just 3 have been scored in this quarter and they've got 2 of them.
Absolutely have. They are 2-4-16 leading Imperials 1-2-8 on the Cumula Club scoreboard. Johnny on the boundary. A lot of big raps on Nate Bull coming through the junior system for Merbein. As we said, missed pretty much all of last year with injury, but it's going to be a handy addition back to the senior side.
Yeah, look, he is. I don't like him as a second ruckman. I know he's just done a great result then being forward, that sort of stuff, but when you've got a bloke that's 6'5", 6'6", he gets picked in the interleague side as a centre-half-back, full-back. Okay, he's emerging. He's not quite there yet. He needs to play there for men. That's probably Merbein's defence they lack. That's where Brigette not playing at Merbein, that second ruckman sort of lacks. And no disrespect, I reckon you'll find him in defence when they're going against the wind.
Thanks for that, Johnny. As Imps try to get the first clearance here, Ogden taken down in a big tackle. Might have some scores from around the grounds here now, DFAB, for the team at the Euston Club Resort.
Yeah, the undefeated South Mildura 4-3-27 leading Wentworth 1 straight 6. 2-point lead to Owen United at Euston against Robinvale Euston 22-20, and Mildura a goal up over Irimple.
So that DFAB is the contest here. McHugh has it knocked away from him by Akis. Bedford trying to get through. I think it might be Trooper Bedford that time. Back of the packet, spills to Rhodey. His handball's a good one for Lockle. Flicks it up here for Scott Bedford, who was running inside 50 and kicked the goal, but the siren went before he could put boot to ball. That would have been a huge final crack there for the Magpies. But as it stands, the visitors are in front here at number 3 oval. 2-4-16, leading Imps.
Quite very, very controlled, very oriented regards to what they want, and they really, really push regards to head over that ball.
Thank you for that, Johnny. Second term underway here on Hot FM. Thanks to the team at Club Aquarius Goal. Of course, our man Johnny down there is the proprietor of that, as Merbein trying to shuffle it forward. Big tackle there from Rhodey. Might have just copped Ogden a little bit high. Free going the way of the Green Machine. Has an overlap run here from Lasky. Of course, a star from Queensland. Hits Bryce Hards, 55 from home, right half forward. Trying to look for options. Hasn't got a lot moving at him. Fox is going to be the main target. In fact, I reckon he's going to load up and go long. But again, it just heads out to the right-hand side and out of bounds on the full. We saw that quite a few times from Merbein. DFAB, that right forward pocket. Maybe seeing a fair bit of action today.
Yeah, that same pocket has just been drawing the footies in, so the players will need to adjust to that as we see Hooker getting ready to retrieve that ball and send us back in from the back pocket. And very interesting first quarter. Nice contested game, hasn't it, with the wind sort of really playing a bit of havoc and influencing proceedings.
As we know, both teams like to have a fair bit of tackling pressure. It could be very important on a day like today where conditions don't necessarily suit. Well, finally back in play is Hooker. High up and under. This is the kick that was hard for Imperials moving forward in that first quarter. This time it goes over the back of the pack, but Lasky's there first. Retreats to Riley Buntain. Now Ogden. Right foot kick goes inside 50. Might be a hold. Umpire's going to pay it. And it's going to be O'Hare, the recipient of the free. Hooker was all over him like a cheap suit. O'Hare will take the shot at goal. If he ends up kicking, and he's going to be pretty much on the 50. 45, 50 degree angle right half forward. Ogden is trying to give an option for the handball. Decides not to. We'll take a good kick from here, DFAB. But again, if he's got the journey, could be worthwhile.
Yeah, it's really just a question of sitting it in the right spot at the moment, isn't it? That's been the challenge for the goal kickers. As O'Hare starts his run in to cut the margin back to 2 points. He starts it all right. I think it's going to float over the goal. Umpires, that's done brilliantly there from James O'Hare to bring the margin back down to just a couple of points.
First blood in the second quarter going the way of the home side. 2-2-14 are Imperials. 2-4-16 Merbein on the Kumiala Club scoreboard. We've gone just over 2 minutes in this second term. John Hollywood on the boundary. You were saying in that first quarter that Imps had a lot of guys who can kick the ball a long way. O'Hare maybe was not one of the guys we thought of in the first place, but he flushed that beautifully.
Yeah, that's the way you do it with the wind, isn't it? Just judge it perfectly. But where did it start from, boys? Halfback. Imps' halfback has got me worried for Merbein. It really has. It makes Lockheed come up to centre half forward, that sort of stuff, which I don't like. It's the run-off halfback that worries me for Merbein in regards to Imps.
Now, Merbein, I think you're going to get a free out of this centre ball up. And Bedford was held in the contest. So he's going to take it and get ready to go. In fact, it's going to be Rhodey, I think, who's the recipient of the free. They've just had to alternate who they give it to. Immediately handballs it off to Bedford anyway. Ran into a bit of trouble and then scrubbed the kick going forward. Imps' pressure was good. Has a chance here for Jackson Penny running through for the green machine. Leaves it behind. Fitzpatrick just gets a handball off in time. Now Donahue, left foot kick inside 50 for Merbein. Lockall the target, picks it up at ground level again. Big tackle laid by Lasky. It's going to be held in and we'll get a throw up. I reckon the speed here of Imperials 2 DFAB, they'll be looking to take advantage of it where they can.
Absolutely. As in the ruck contest, it's sit down by Lockall, though, to the advantage of Imps, and they're just running it into the goal line and running it over. I'm not sure that anyone knew what was happening there, but we've got a rush behind. Is the end result.
The tunnel ball went back 35 metres in the wrong direction. Imperials fraught with danger, but in the end counts as a rush behind. It's 2-5-17 for Merbein. Imperials 2-2-14 on the Kumiala Club scoreboard. The boys on the scoreboard, I don't think you actually recognised that last one came through. We'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, Imps, Tallis Buntain, little handball back to older brother Riley, who waxes the ball there as well with Douglas, just trying to find a way through. Ugly kick, but it works perfectly in the end. And Penny, that's Jackson, takes it. Kick down the line. Goal kicker O'Hare led the way. Off hands, out of bounds. In the 12th Street flank. Right in between the interchange gates, so we'll get a throw in. 3-point advantage here for Merbein.
Bricks up against Burns in that intriguing ruck battle today. It was Burns getting the better of it that time. Fitzpatrick running through to get the handball to Valance eventually. The snap kick goes back towards Fitzpatrick. He's got a scramble. Bedford's there to grab it off the deck. His ball a bit rushed, but comes out to Ricks. Done nicely there from Stevens, and they got Rhodey, but that hand pass was to the boundary line in the end. It was intended to find its way to Ashrow, but we'll get a boundary throw in.
You just said the footy IQ of Michael Hooker in that contest. Even though he went to ground, he did enough just to flick the ball out with the fingernails and bounce it across to a teammate. It was cleverly done. There's a chance here for Imps. Kick going forward from O'Dwyer again inside 50, and it's a good contested mark by Regan Scott. In between the defenders Page and Harradine. Takes it on the chest, and we'll get a chance to put the ball forward. Another one of the O's for Imperials, Paddy O'Brien. Youngster is in his third game, debuted in their opener. Good handball in that clearance there to get the ball out. And inside 50. So Scott Kicked the first goal of the game for Imps, and geez, he's judged the win beautifully again. 2 from similar positions here for Imps, and they rocket back in front, 3-2-20, leading Merbein 2-5-17 on the Kumiala Club scoreboard.
Yeah, well, maybe that's the spot to be kicking from. Obviously a bit of a challenging distance to kick it from the 50-metre paint, but when you know just put enough weight on it and set it in the right position, sometimes that's the easier kick.
Absolutely. John Hollywood for Fatty Boomba on the boundary. You wonder whether maybe Merbein should try and put someone to O'Dwyer. He's dominating possession so far.
Look, he's dominating possession because that half-back line is just pushing it out, and he's obviously a run-and carrier himself, so that's what they're doing so well. There's no doubt about that.
It's in the middle. Ricks at the tap down. Ball's gone away, and Hills tried to tap it to his own advantage, but in the process, accidentally got Fitzpatrick over the shoulder. Second year at Imperials, Jai Fitzpatrick takes off, and again, long inside 50, getting some trajectory with those kicks. Spoiled away by Harradine. Stevens had to get through a few of them, did well in the end. Off to Hooker, flicks it forward looking for Hills. He's got to give it off quickly. Did well to keep his feet, but the numbers are here with the home side. Fox just snaps it over the shoulder, moves it inside 50, Valance. Page did well to bring it to ground for Merbein. Numbers here for the Pies of the contest. Rhodey, Hamilton looking for Harradine. Bryce Hards gets in the way. He's taken down by the hyphen, Lamos Felton. A stalemate, about 48 from home here for Imps, and again, that pressure defab working well. Seems to be the end of the ground where the ball's spending the most time. Towards the is it the Eddie Wander end? Sorry, I'm not sure. I'm getting a bit lost geographically. You need the GPS, I think, out here.
So we've got a free kick into Feds for the Pies. Chance to get it out of that danger zone. Slips through the hands of Rowe. Scrambling over there is Lasky. Rowe recovers nicely. Just a handball into space, but there's green jumpers there to collect. Forbes, he gets a handball out. Ogden is at the end of the chain after O'Dwyer got a handball away. Almost came back to him, and in the end, Ogden does recover it and does eventually get a handball to O'Dwyer, but that one goes off the side of the boot and sprays into the car park.
First touch there for Paddy Forbes in the number 1 for Imperials. A senior debut for him today after playing in the reserves all last year, and first couple of games in the twos so far here again today. Getting his first touch of the footy, always nice. Let's get that one off the mark. His senior debut. 3-2-20 for Imperials. 2-5-17 for Merbein. Gone just over 8 minutes in this second term. A couple of longer stoppages, however, so we feel this term might go for a while. In that ball in there, in between the footy and the netball area defab. The ball's just flying around all over the place. The crowd out there have got a bit of work to do. Clever kick in the end from Hooker, finds Rhodey at half-back. Stevens, handball receive, gets a good shepherd, switches on here for Lamos Felton, who can go if he wants to. He's got some space. He was off balance when he kicked it, and might work okay in the end for Donahue. He's got McHugh with him. Handball's off again, looking for Lamos Felton. Bump there from Valance was enough to see him over the boundary line. Go throw in. 65 from home here for Imps, 11th Street side of number 3 oval.
Yeah, we'll get the throw in just near that scoreboard on that wing far side of the ground. It comes in, it's Ricks up against Birds. Burns has the front position, and I think he does get a nice tap to it there to Ogden, who comes around the back of the pack, throws it on the boot. In the end, it's a bit scrappy, but it's collected and sent to half forward for Ibsen. A few over the ball. Harradine gets a tackle, comes in for a second bite, and we'll have it's in the back. He seemed to have fallen on Scott there, so it'll be a free kick going Imp's ways just inside 50.
Yeah, probably a little unlucky there, Harradine, because Scott had dived on the footy, so if he actually hadn't have fallen straight into his back, it could have been a good case for holding the ball. But either way, Scott has got 2 to his name so far. He's kicked a beauty earlier in this term. Was the one to put his side back in front. This one's a better angle too. Not a lot of angle to speak of, in fact. 45 from home. Sets it up. Swings it. In fact, I think he's just a bit too far the other side of the goalpost, and just a minor score for Imps. 3-3-21. Merbein 2-5-17 on the Kumiala Club scoreboard. Of course, Hot FM footy in 2026 brought to you by Colin and Tierney, First National Real Estate, the second term, thanks to Club Aquarius Goal.
Normally you can judge by Jaden Fox's reaction in the goal square whether it's gone through, but he went a bit early on that one, so couldn't quite rely on Fox on that occasion.
Hooker plays on from the defensive goal square, gets a bit of clearance. Bedford,
nice.
Big fly, couldn't quite hold on to it. Handballs into space, Ferraris has overrun it. Picks it up again though, nicely done. Now Smith Handball back off to Scott Bedford. Little kick down the line, was looking for Lockyer. Just didn't quite hit the target. Tallis Buntain takes the intercept. Mark retreats a long way back to older brother Riley, but it's going to work here because he's found Burns. The opposite defensive flank. Little kick inside's a good one for Lasky. This is where Imps are at their peak. Running, gunning, good kicking down the line. Chips it further for McHugh. Premiership wingman.
Keep his off over the summer. Keep his off over the summer, boys.
Absolutely. I think there's a fair bit of that, Johnny. As McHugh plays onto advantage. Long inside 50. Big fly from Fox at the back. Couldn't quite bring it to ground. Now a chance here for Rhodey for Merbein. Kick down the line. Lasky taken front on. Umpire Mick Brewell says the same thing. Free kick going the way of Imps in the centre square.
And despite the players, the umpire's not changing his decision, so Imps will get the chance in that centre square to potentially send it inside 50. The boot of Lasky goes deep inside forward. Nice sit for Harradane, but can't quite reel it in, and Scott collects, and another Harradane tackle. It's holding the ball this time, so Harradane gets the call.
Maybe a little bit harsh there on Reggie Scott. In the end, he was told to play on, which is interesting. Had to kick it as high up and under. Scott snaps it towards goal. Straight back in the lap of his direct opponent, Harradine, who's got no one to give it to. Has to switch wide with the handball to Rowe. He looks for Page. Fitzpatrick in the way. Big man Ricks there doing the hard work. The ruckman off hands again. Fitzpatrick went to kick it around the corner. In fact, it's over the boundary line. And we will get a throw in. So it's scrappy work here for both teams. Not making it easy for themselves. John Hollywood on the boundary. Looks like a few of these Imperials players, the likes of O'Dwyer, Ogden's getting back into it too, and Jai Fitzpatrick all controlling the ball through the middle of the ground.
Yeah, exactly, Mitchie. That's dead right. Look, the run and carry from Imps is absolutely outstanding. My concern for Merbein is that their defenders are little. They've got a lot of little defenders who can carry the ball and run and use really well, but they're not. Okay, they're having trouble getting 2 and 3 touches and then finishing the next one off to get outside that back 50.
You wonder whether Ricks might be an important man as a link man down the ground as well. Speaking of which, he's in that ruck contest. Over the back here, opposition ruck Burns just trying to bollock his way through middle, and happy to let the Merbein players know about it too. I feel like trying to headbutt a brick wall, that man, I think. Taps it down nicely in the ruck contest. Here's a chance here for Imperials. Ogden around the corner, top of the square. It's cleared, everyone. And Cooper Ogden puts it through the big sticks. 3 goals on the bounce here for the home side. 4-3-27. They've now opened up a 10-point lead over Merbein at 2-5-17 on the Coomiella Club scoreboard. And
it was Bryce Hards with a nice collect out of that stoppage, and a few players went past it, and just the clean hands there to find the teammate, and it results in a goal, and a very important goal for Imps to just really take advantage of a quarter in which they've spent a lot of the time in their own forward half.
Absolutely. Might go to Max the Axe Hollingworth. Maxie, how many touches for Cooper Ogden in this quarter so far?
Cooper Ogden's had 5 possessions so far.
And he's been quite busy, and I reckon he's probably into double figures now at this stage as well. Might go around the grounds too, DFAB, see if we can get some updates from the other games.
Yeah, out at Euston, Robinvale. Euston are 7-5-47, leading Owen United 4-5-29. A close game at the MSP. South Mildura 4-3-27, Wentworth 4-1-25, and Mildura leading Ironpool 34-16.
There's a big clearance from Ogden again out of the middle. It's a big fly attempt, I think it was by Fitzpatrick, inside forward 50 for Imps, but Lamos Felton got pushed in the back. They had to go wide here each time, Merbein. Imps is setting up well through the middle of the ground. It's awkward to do so with this breeze as Hooker switched to the opposite defensive pocket. Smith, gee, went to play. Oh, and umpire says, you got to. So takes it and runs. It's a nice kick down the line. Finds Donahue. Doesn't want to waste too much time. Down the ground. Unfortunately, his kick picked out the biggest man on the field, and Riley Burns immediately plays on inside 50. Fox has to sit. Good spoil there from Lamos Felton to bring it to ground. He's got some support. Donahue's little kick is awkward, but Kyle Stevens will make it work.
Stevens immediately goes to the open hooker, and he'll just assess the options. Sends it. He's got 2 players there. They were about to run into each other, but in the end, it's Mao that takes the mark. Goes back to hooker. His handball goes to Ferraris, who's got a bit of space to run into. Sends it towards, what was it, 2-on-1 really, but Lockyer had the best position, so he takes the mark. He's got an open man inside 50. Good ball movement there from the Magpies, and we'll get a shot at goal here from Ackers.
Beautiful kick from Nigel Lockyer inside 50. Really hasn't had much of a sight of it. As Maxie said, I think 2 touches in the first term. I reckon that's his first for the second. But Ackers had just drifted inside forward 50. He's going to take a shot at goal. Not much of an angle to speak of. Looks all right off the boot. That's a good finish against the wind. And a goal there for Merbein, badly needed. They move along to 3-5-23. Bring the margin back to 4 points against Imperials. 4-3-27 on the Kumiela Club scoreboard. Johnny on the boundary for Fatty Bumba. You could just see the class of Nigel Lockyer in that scenario, and hasn't had a lot to do in the second term so far, but I guess the quality stands out.
Yeah, look, he's a wonderful player. There's no doubt about that. But look, the running carry was much better that time. If you look down back from Merbein, they're a good young defence, but they are young. They really are. Young Pagey plays centre-half back, mountain of a man, but he's only a boy. So they just got to learn to settle their heads, which they did then. And it was actually driven by Michael Harradine. He was the bloke I could hear with the voice to Mo saying, next one, next one, next one. So it was more Michael Harradine, even though he didn't touch the ball.
First drops of rain on the glass in front of us now as the restart, a whistle's blown, and a free kick is going the way of Imperials. And they'll get the chance to try and get a quick response. It's Fitzpatrick with the footy. Hills on the mark. Play on's called, so Hills advances. Fitzpatrick's kick goes towards Fox, who tries to get a bit of flight on Hooker. Spills out the back as it comes back to Fox, who's got a bit of run. Sends it towards the goal square. Can it bend back enough? There's hands on the goal line to force it over. And just the behind.
Michael Harradine just getting there at the very last second. Gee, was a good effort at goal there for Jaden Fox. Was going the wrong way in the pocket. Had to go a long way across his body. Almost carried the journey, but didn't quite in the end. 4-4-28 Imperials. 5-point leaders over Merbein. 3-5-23. Hooker had the defensive goal square. Gives it off to Harradine and gets it back again. Just dabs it over the top here for Stevens. Merbein defence just keeping their heads at the moment, looking for the short passes. Finds his skipper in Hills. Patrick's got to be careful on the mark. Handball off to Stevens again down the line. Trying to find Trooper Bedford. Dodd's got absolutely steamrolled there in that contest. Meanwhile, Rhodey trying to get the ball out, taken down. Centre wing. And it's going to be a stalemate there with the big tackle being laid.
Yes, Callahan, who came in like a steam train before as we go down to the boundary.
Yeah, just a bit of information on Benny Dusha. Obviously come off in that first term, and we obviously had a look at him and that sort of stuff. I thought he was going to go back on, but he's now got showered and changed. He's got a bad calf, unfortunately.
Well, that's certainly a bit of a blow there for Merbein. One of their key men up forward, Benny Dusha, done for the day by the sounds of it. So meanwhile, in this contest, there's a hold. Free kick's going to go the way of Cooper Dodds here for the Pies. Short kick over the top for Rhodey. Has to get away from Forbes. Just taps into advantage. Could have been held. It's cleverly done in the end. He's going to earn himself a free. Rhodey. Short kick on. Finds Smith. She's tried to get the extra bit of meterage with the 50. Umpire didn't fall for it. Eyes down. Spearing pass inside 50. Lockyer tries to push his opponent, Buntain, off the ball. Clearing handball and hope more than anything. Pressure here from the Pies is nice. Keeping it inside. Lockwood couldn't quite keep it inside the field of play, however, and it is out of bounds. It's nice work there by Smith at half forward, who's got plenty of raps. Steve Fab, obviously a very good cricketer coming through, but also a highly touted junior coming out of the system.
Absolutely. He's been good along the wing today as it comes back in and spills to the ground. Nice follow-up work there from Nate Bull, it was. Comes out field through the hands of Fitzpatrick, though. Sharing it around the image players. Buntain. Now Valence, I think it was, who's must have floated back. His kick tries to cross it to the other side of the ground where the boundary line beats McHugh. So we'll get a throw in the forward pocket, Merbein end of the ground.
Dangerous looking kick across the defensive 50. When we're talking about, Johnny said, it's quite a young Merbein team out there. Of course, Dusha off the ground. No Justin Frankel today. No Anthony McDonald, Tip and Woody today either. Quite a lot of leadership that's missing from that side. Handball forward for Imps. Bounces off the chest of Dodds. Forbes goes in there. Maybe had a case to ask for in the back. Umpire lets it go. Still 5 points to margin in favour of Imperials here at number 3 Oval. Nice to see it back in action. Of course, was the home of South Mildura Bulldogs for a long time until the end of 2021. 2 seasons ago, the season opener, they did play here against Robinvale Euston, but since that point in time, no premiership points competed for at the iconic venue here in the Central Asia Football Netball League.
That's right, as we get the restart again. Bull against Burns, who just grabs it out of the ruck and has to kind of throw it onto the boot in the direction of Fox, who's met late there from Bedford, as the umpire blows a whistle for a free kick, and Bedford gets a bit of extra attention and a bit of carry on with a few players, but Fox gets the ball moving. He sends it towards Barntane in the middle of the ground from the cricket pitch area. His wobbly ball towards Douglas is somewhat advantageous because they do have the numbers briefly there, Imps, though in the end they are met by some arrival of some Merbein defenders. Smith looks to collect now. He tries to spin out of trouble, loses his feet, finds Stevens, so the long sleeves working well there, and a mark on the wing to Ackers.
It was impressive at times in defence last year, Jordan Ackers. Looks like he's spending more time on the wing here today. Went inside to his skipper in Hills, who goes further inside. That's a great kick. Centre of number 3 oval. Dodds takes it. He's met solidly by the man on the mark there in Valance. Quickly handballs off to Rhodey. They have to go laterally at the moment. Hills towards the top of the 50. A little bit much on it for the intended target. Lockyer at the back. It spills past him. Lays a big tackle on Tallis Buntain, but Imps will get it out of trouble through Handstock. Couldn't quite hit his target in O'Brien. Now O'Dwyer down the line, but Page had a monster game. First contest of the season against Orion United. Did a number on Luke Thompson. Takes the mark, kicks it to Smith as the rain starts coming down now. Big spoil by Riley Buntain at centre half back for Imps. Ackers tracking it towards the boundary line. It will go across. In fact, it stayed in the field of play.
Bedford had other ideas.
Everyone stopped because they thought it was out. Meanwhile, play goes on. Imps get the clear kick out of defence. Mills couldn't hold it when he hit the ground. Pressure really on the Imps defence here. Ogden, little kick, nicely weighted. Going to be a free for a chop of the arms there on Bryce Hards at centre half back.
Yeah, it was Ashrow flying in to that contest, so gives away the free kick, and Imps probably now just want to maybe settle it down a bit late in the quarter. Don't want to concede a late goal, and Merbein have a bit of momentum building at the moment.
John Hollywood on the boundary. Did you bring your poncho here today, mate? It's starting to come down now.
Mate, I'm an ex-infantry soldier. There's no ponchos, mate. No such thing.
No plastic there on the front lines. Just kick down the line from Imperials is intercepted by Bedford, who's
just shows up everywhere. He was in the forward line a few seconds ago.
It was like there's two of him, but technically there almost is. As the kick across, Stevens left it behind. Fox did really well in the contest by himself. Got the ball going the Imperials' way. Now, however, gets a free kick for in the back. Scott was just a little bit reckless coming in. We'll stop the field of play. Not going to Maxi Hollingworth. As Scotty Bedford, how many touches for him so far today?
He is 17 possessions so far.
He's had a great start to this one as Hookers gets a free here for Merbein on centre wing.
Goes inboard towards Rhodey, who's also had plenty of the ball for Merbein, but that time he runs into a very fierce tackle, and Imps win back possession. It was at O'Dwyer again, so he goes the long ball. It's Harradine with front position, but it just sits well enough for Scott, who I think he's called a play on because he turns around quickly, sends it to the goal square.
What a finish.
Great, Scott.
Absolutely. He got robbed of the mark in the end, Regan Scott, but what a finish that was on the move. Just swiveled on a dime and puts it through the middle. 3 goals in the opening half for the Premiership key defender. Great start for him. And Imps going to extend that lead just a little bit further. Johnny on the boundary. Nice work there from Scott, as we said. Was robbed of the mark. I think the umpire went a bit early on the not paid it because he took a couple of bites of the cherry, but that was a forward's finish, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, definitely played like a forward there. But that's that chaos ball. That's why I don't mind it going in quick and high, because what it does is that with that wind, Harradine was front and centre and he should have marked it, but it's obviously gone over his head, you know. So that's the good thing about getting that kick in early. 3 of the 5 goals for Imperials coming from Regan Scott, 5-4-34, leading Merbein 3-5-23 on the Kumiela Club scoreboard. Half forward here for Merbein. It's Smith. Handballs to Rowe. It's smothered off his boot. Might work okay. Ackers is there trying to get through. In fact, it was Donahue off to Noah Hills. Almost an immediate response there for the Pies, but a bit narrow and through for a minor score. That brings that margin back to 10 points now. We've gone 24 minutes in the second term for Club Aquarius goal in the second quarter on Hot FM footy.
Good work from from Hills there, who had the initial clearance and ended up on the end of chain of possessions, but Riley Buntain brings it in from the kick in, plays on, sends it to the pack on the wing. Spills down there. It looks like Scott Bedford's got possession of it and snapped it towards 50. But it's once again, it's Bedford to Buntain. It's a bit repetitive. Merbein, though, with a second chance at goal, and it's marked inside 50 there by Ackers again. So he had the same opportunity earlier from this spot, so could well build to his goal tally.
Yeah, he did nicely just to hang around the forward 50. Clever kick from Ash Road too. Didn't blaze away. Kept the head down. Ackers didn't look like he quite got the penetration on that one either. But look at that carry. It's over the top. Lockyer on the last line did enough to stop the defence getting in there, and Jordan Ackes, an unlikely double goal kicker in this second term for Merbein. And that's a very important goal for the Magpies. 4-6-30, just trailing Imperials again by 4 points, 5-4-34. And that's the good thing here about Merbein at the moment, DFAB. Every time Imperials take a march, Merbein are with them step and step.
Well, I'm very amazed at that last line defending there from him. It's a team who have probably got some of the best intercept markers in the game, and the last line of defence was kind of just left empty for the ball to float through.
Certainly was. Ricks tapped down for Merbein, a chance to go forward, hacked out of the mid-air by Smith. It's going to favour Mills for Imperials. Handball off, and it's Penny coming the other way. Put it out of bounds on the full trip of Bedford, let him know about it. Penny not happy either. Still going at it down the ground as Stevens take the free. Going to get going. 26 minutes gone in the second term. Is there another chance here for the Pies? Offhand Spontaine. There won't be, but an important late goal there for Jordan Ackes. He's got 2 in that second term. And Imperials leading a cracking contest here at the moment by 4 points at the main break. 5-4-34, leading Merbein 4-6-30 on the Kumiala Club scoreboard. We're going to head back to the studio, take some messages from our valued sponsors. Our halftime wrap is on the other side of this. Don't go anywhere. We're your home of live local sport in Sunraysia. We are Hot FM. Looks like Merbein's going quite tall to start this third term, trying to take advantage of the wind with some height down there.
Yeah, look, I couldn't agree more. As I said, I think I like the chaos ball. Chuck it on the boot really quickly, get it down there fast. Look, some of them are going to go out of bounds to the full and all that sort of stuff. And obviously when you get with inside 50, settle, go for goal properly, that sort of stuff. But I love the chaos ball, especially with the wind. The defender runs underneath it, the ball carries.
Certainly does, as Lockall and Bull are going to be the deepest forwards. You've also got Lockyer and Rowe sitting at centre-half forward as well. So a few targets there for the Magpies. Umpire holds the ball aloft. Third term underway here on Hot FM. Here's Michael D. Fabrizio.
The umpire is stepping up for the ball up, and it comes into Ricks and Burns. Burns with a nice leap and tap down to the advantage there of Fitzpatrick, who runs, puts it on the boot in the Fox direction. He's got front position, but a nice reach around fist there from Mao. Recovering nicely though, Fox. Handball's just over the back to try and find a teammate, and the boundary line is the winner of that contest.
Really tried to create something out of nothing there, Jaden Fox, with a look-away handball.
How was that ruck tap, boys?
It was outstanding, wasn't it, from Riley Burns? I reckon that could be a huge play for Imps in this second half, as Fitzpatrick again hacks the ball forward. Check side bounces up into the lap of Hooker, however. He goes down the line, carries the intended target of Rowe. Callahan's at the back for Imps. Handstock right on the boundary line. His handball taken by Trooper Bedford, who's...
We've got a little one, little kids that's running through the contest.
Yeah, absolutely. The runners had to... Joey Trevellis just had to pull him out of the way and make sure he didn't get trampled on the way through. Back into the ruck now. Burns and Ricks, 2 big units in the contest. Gee, that ball's gone a long way away from everyone, but Ricks has thumped it forward, gains 35-40 metres. Riley Buntain handballs to Handstock, who's happy to have scored it over the boundary right in front of our commentary position. 12th Street wing, number 3 oval. Great to see action back here again today. Plenty of green and white around. The first home game for Imperials at their new base.
Comes in, Burns just reaches for the tap on the deck. Lockall scrambling, does nicely to get the handball out of the pack, but at the back of the pack there was Lasky to pick it up for Imps. Coming in there is, I think it's Smith with the long sleeves. Picking it up off the deck is Riley Burns. He's wrapped up in the tackle, so we'll get another ball up.
Uncharacteristic fumble from Bryce Hards in that contest there as well. Almost fresh airied the handball going through. Goes to show that pressure is high from both teams right now. Bedford tried to take it out for Merbein. Bounces off him. Kick smothered by Dodds, but Hills emerges. Goes back to Scotty Bedford over the shoulder. Lockall 55 from home. Just used his body perfectly in that contest. Take the chest mark. He's got a man in Lockyer, centre half forward, goes in that direction and takes the mark. Had their hands all over it on that one. Johnny Hollywood on the boundary. You could see that from a mile away.
Lead, wasn't it? But I actually thought the big fella could kick it from there. From 65 in this wind, he could probably launch it, set it out front of the centre of the square there and drift it in. But great mark.
It's probably not wrong, DFAB. I reckon Corey Lockall, if he wanted to line up, could make that journey.
As Lockyer comes in, he looks like he might have just weighted it nicely. He has. So Lockyer gets first blood of the second half.
He gets his first goal of the day, and that takes him to 11 for the season. An important one there for the Magpies too, which puts them back in front. 5-6-36, leading Imperials 5-4-34 on the Kumiela Club scoreboard. 3 minutes gone in this third term on Hot FM. Again, it was a good mark by Lockall that set it up. The handballing ability of Merbein in that contest just opened up space. So I can give a tick to Noah Hills too, DFAB, to create the space in that one.
Very calm in that situation, wasn't he?
Hills looks like he's doing the run with Ono Dwyer at the moment too, so that could be a big match up there for the skipper. Just waiting for the ball to come back to the centre of the ground.
Yeah, it's a bit of a run with, but also you'll notice at the centre stoppages, they are giving each other a bit of space. So I think maybe a bit of backing themselves in.
John Hollywood on the boundary for Fatty Boomba. What else are you seeing down there, mate?
That was the one that I liked the most. Look, we asked for it, didn't we, at half-time? We certainly got it.
Certainly did. Taps down. Hills again. Nice handball. Rhodey just gets a kick away as he's smashed in a contest. Lockall almost took a great contested mark. Handball was outstanding. Lockyer snaps towards goal. Really well done by Callaghan on the last line of defence. Takes the mark down at ground level. Little kick down the line, finds the number one disposal winner on the ground, O'Dwyer. Goes back across here for Riley Buntain. Oh, that's a dangerous kick, and it's going to be intercepted by Lockall. Runs a goal and misses to the near side. Man on the mark, Buntain did just enough to put him off. But, gee, that could have been a horrible turnover.
Yeah, it wasn't wasting any time. He opted for the play on just there. Lockall didn't break his stride at all, but could have gone back for a goal in the end, just the behind, but we'll never know.
Gee, the brakes would have to be strong to try and stop that freight train running through there. But either way, Merbein extend the lead. 5-7-37 for the Pies. 5-4-34 for the Imps. Still waiting for the ball to come back from over the other side of the ground. John Hollywood on the boundary for Fatty Boomba. Again, the pressure at that end of the ground is huge. Where's the wind direction actually going to? Is it swirling? Is it going across the ground?
Yeah, look, it's certainly swirling, but realistically, if you kick it up in the air, it's actually pushing across to your side, boys, so it's basically our side, but it's really going down and across.
Nice contested mark from Tallis Buntain from the kick out of defence. Hasn't really got much to go to down the ground. Now just pops in that direction. Over the back, Valance, almost uncontested, running into the footy. And he's going to stay in the field of play. Michael Hooker, clever underground handball for Rhodey. Want to be taken high, umpire lets it go. Nice tackle on the 50, and gee, hot on the holding the ball decision. Free kick's going to go the way of Merbein in defence. And recipient trying to get a sense of who it is. Vinny Rhodey again, who's been busy so far. I might go to Max Diax Hollingworth. What are Rhodey's numbers so far after that kick?
He's had 2 possessions so far this quarter.
And what about for the game?
He's had for the game so far 15 possessions.
Meanwhile, Ogden gets in the way. And on the outside of the boot, good finish there for the Imps recruit. And they take the lead once again, 6-4-40. Merbein at 5-7-37 on the Kumiela Club scoreboard. He just read it nicely, didn't he, DFAB?
Yeah, just ran into the right space and has capitalised. And good response from Imps not too long after Merbein hit the scoreboard early.
Second goal of the game for Cooper Ogden. Good return for him, and nice kick on the outside of the boot, which is not an easy one to finish, but absolutely split the uprights. Cracking contest has got on our hands here today. Lead going back and forth. As John Hollywood said earlier, Ben Dusha, forward for Merbein, is on ice for the rest of the game. I think Lamos Felton may be back out there for them. Fitzpatrick, nice spin to get out of traffic in the centre of the ground. Handball found Lasky. Little kick is good for O'Dwyer. Wants a run past handball. Didn't have one offering. So has to go back and kick it to half forward. Leading Fox was on. Knocked away from him. Donahue did well there against the bigger man in Burns. Rhodey also there and taking the ground level. Fox thought he had pinched it and run through to an open goal, but umpire says give it to me. We'll have a stalemate. 7 minutes gone in this third term. Half forward here for Imperials, going to the left of your radio dial.
Just a hack kick at it from Burns, and a free kick is called in his favour. So
it's a hold, I think.
Might have been held as he tried to get a boot to it. But, he'll get a shot, potentially a shot goal if he wants it. Just slight angle, or about 50, just from inside the 50-metre arc.
You know, Riley Burns has always been a big lump of a lad, DFAB, but gee, looks in great shape at the moment.
Yeah, no, he certainly knows how to get match fit, and will try and put his weight behind this kick to get a second goal of the quarter for Imps.
Burns on the runway. Left foot kick. I reckon he almost slipped as he kicked it. Nearly worked to advantage. The teammate was trying to take the mark down low in Douglas. In the end, a free kick's going to be paid to Merbein as Rhodey runs out of defence. Clever short kick for Dodds. He's got options on down the line. He miskicked that completely, but luck's a fortune. Lands in the lap of Akis. 2 goals in the second term for him were really important. Decides to go laterally inboard. Has Donahue. Switch might be on here. Bedford's over on the other side of the ground. Heads in that direction. Beautiful kick. In fact, it's Mao who's got it on the run, looking for Smith. Bounce favours him. Tries to work his way past Talis Buntain. That's a clever little check kick. And Lockyer, who had separation from Riley Buntain, takes the mark and will look for his second of the term. Good coast-to-coast footy, DFAB.
Yeah, nice running from Mao to come out of the back line and make the decision to run into space and take the game on. And it's set up a goal-scoring opportunity here.
No blazing away there for Merbein. I know Johnny likes the chaos ball, but the control work inside 50 was lovely. So Lockyer looks good. It's home. Second of the term. Merbein retake the lead. 6-7-43, leading Imps 6-4-40 on that Kumiela Club scoreboard in this third term. For Pioneer forward Robin Vale on Hot FM footy. Johnny on the boundary for Fatty Boomba. Colin Mao, got to give him a big tick for that run off half back.
Yeah, very beautiful run. Good carry too. How good's young Gus Smith, boys? Obviously, he's a first division cricketer, and I think his maturity is beyond his years. I don't think he's turned 18 yet. He's got a beautiful left foot. And as you said, I love the chaos ball, but when you're running and carrying like that, you've got to be steady in mindset, and he was very good at that then.
Well, you ask how good he is. He's been thrown right into the midfield now, Smith, so certainly I think the Merbein coaches agree.
Yeah, he's had a couple of rotations through the centre, and so they've clearly got eyes on him, and right on cue is at the fore of the ball. Scampered forward there by Burns along the ground level. Ogden's pouched it. There is a free for a hold. It's actually going to come back to Imperials by the looks of it. I think Ogden's going to be the recipient of that free. In fact, it's going to be Douglas going further back, I think. It is. I think Bedford just hung on a little bit long. His tackle. So the shovel, one of our favourites on Hot FM. Hasn't seen a lot of it so far today. Valance couldn't take a mark that he probably should have grabbed at half forward. Ground level. A stack of magpies swooped on. Made sure he couldn't get the ball out at half forward. Stalemate. 50 metres from goal for Imps. It's gone goal for goal so far in this third term. Had the ruck Valance. Tried to spin out, just got a handball off in time and might work here for O'Hare. Now Douglas left foot kick inside. It's cut off by the champion Ash Rowe. Been 10 years this year since Ash Rowe shared in the McLeod medal, which seems ridiculous. Kick long. May work for Stevens. The bounce didn't work for him though. He's besieged by Imps players. Lucky for him, he's got some help from the skipper and Noah Hills, who hangs up Jack Mills in a good tackle. A bit of stalemate on centre wing. 3 points to favour in... 3 points the margin in favour of Merbein here on Hot FM footy.
We'll get another restart involving the big man Riley Burns, and it looks like Bull will be his opponent on this occasion. Bull gets a nice hand to it, doesn't quite bounce the way of Bedford, so it's collected. Might have been Ogden or Dwyer perhaps, but he's wrapped up in a tackle and it doesn't get very far.
Lamos Felton's back onto the ground here for Merbein as Matty Ricks comes off for a spell, so looks like they've still got just the one out on the bench. Merbein, good signs. Burns tapped down, sharked by Hooker. Clever handball there from Smith to Rowe. Little kick on the outside of the ball. Nearly worked. And it's going to be a free kick for a legging. Well done by Scott Bedford, who just made his way to that contest and forced the free kick from Bryce Hards. Almost centre wing. Down the 11th Street flank. That's a beautiful kick. Finds Rowe just outside 50.
Rowe goes quickly to play on. He's on the 50-metre arc. He's got the man that's just come on a nice lead in Lamos Felton. And he'll get a shot at goal directly in front from about 25 metres out.
You could just see the leadership and the smarts there from Ash Rowe, DFAB. He ran off and immediately told Lamos Felton, come at me, move into the space, and absolutely nailed the kick.
And nice from Bedford before that spot Rowe out of the corner of his eye and just weighed it perfectly.
So... a hyphen, normally finds himself in defence, up forward now. And he's just tugged that a little left. It's going to be a minor score for Merbein. 7-8-44, leading Imperials 6-4-40 in Kumiela Club scoreboard. Just over 12 minutes gone in this third term on Hot FM. Of course, Coliantini First National Real Estate bringing you all the action in 2026 on Hot FM. Make sure if you're listening in today as well to stay tuned to the channels, because the A team's going to be down from the Mildura Hothouse tonight for a double header action for Mildura Heat, of course, in Big V basketball. Ball going to be brought back in by Aaron Lasky. Of course, no skipper Brad Hards today for Imps. Colby Hards also in a moon boot, so Lasky tasked with the kick-ins. Long down the line. That's a good mark there from Talis Buntain. Almost got spoiled by his own brother coming over the top. Wouldn't have been a nice one to talk about at the Christmas dinner table, but nonetheless, he's taken it. Still only 22, Talis Buntain, young man, plenty ahead of him. Off hands, Ogden on the centre wing, wrapped up in a big tackle by Mick Harradine. Being hugged by an oak tree down there. You get a stalemate on centre wing.
As we go again with Riley Burns, was taking it with both hands out of the ruck, but his handball just goes over the boundary line for a throw-in. So he'll get involved again once the boundary umpire launches it back in.
Trooper Bedford's just been a bit of a mozzie out there at the moment. Happy to let the Imperials boys know about it when there's been mistakes. Might be getting under the skin. Here's Scott Bedford again, high up and under. Been an awkward one to Mark Lockyer. Gee, he's taking that with the one Duke. No, he's been paid for a push, and I think that's probably there. Did have hands in the back. So free kick going to go the way of Talis Buntain. So the short man on an Ogden goes slightly further for the youngster in O'Brien. Whoop. Carries over him. I think it's pitched inside the boundary line and we'll get a throw in. Plenty of pressure on both teams here at the moment. 4-point lead in favour of Merbein. Hasn't been a goal for a few minutes. We'll see how it goes from here. Bull with the tap down for the Pies. Acker's taken. Immediately. Combination of Ogden and Burns will get us another ball up. Commentary side wing, 12th Street of number 3 oval.
So Bull gets a nice piece of it on that one, but there was a hold somewhere or high contact somewhere along the way, so it's going a free kick to Burns. Immediately gets it towards wire, but not his best disposal of the afternoon. That one is gobbled up there nicely by Rhodey, who's got Bull, who looks to just pick the spot for Lockyer to run into, and he takes it off the bounce. Does it, don't argue. Sends it forward to Lockall. Can he take the mark? He can't, but it spills over the boundary line for a throw in.
Gee, he just wanted that more than everyone else in that contest, didn't he, DFAB? A lot of players from both teams second-guessing what they were going to do. He just absolutely ran it down. Almost pulled off a great pass to Lockall inside 50 in the end. It was a good spoil from Riley Buntain across the line. If Pies can get a goal here, extend the lead to 10 points. Lockall with the tap down, just bustles his way past Ogden. Bit of tunnel ball out of the contest here. Hards just gets a kick away in time. Vinny Rhodey may have been taken high. Umpire lets it go. I reckon he potentially ducked into it. Yeah. Rhodey's furious. Absolutely furious it wasn't paid, but still at least inside the forward 50 here for the black and white.
We get the ball up, Lockall against Burns. Lockall takes it off the bounce, but it's Douglas who receives the handball. He sets it up, looking for Scott, but Harradine got a piece of it to bring it to ground. Spills out in the favour of him. Scott gets another piece of it, although a good smother there from the Pies. Gives Scott another chance though. His kick, bouncing ball through the middle of the ground. And hacked off the deck there nicely by O'Hare, forward in the direction of Fox. Can he collect it neatly? Not really. It's bouncing all sorts of different ways, and the Pies will get a chance to run it out of defence.
Beautifully done by Collie Mao to keep his feet on the one-on-one contest. Stevens, meanwhile, kicks it inboard. Bounce doesn't favour anyone in particular. Here's a chance for Lasky. Runs inside 50 for Imperials, long down the line. Fox went to try and take it with the one Duke. It was going across the face. In the end, just hopped along the line for a rush behind. For Imps, brings the margin back to 3 points. 6-5-41, 6-9-44. Has kicked down the line. In fact, I think the scoreboard may have put the behind on the wrong team going through there. Might even get a score update, DFAB, from around the grounds as well. Some close contests. Especially looking forward to seeing the one at Mildura Sporting Precinct between South and Wentworth.
That's the one that's bouncing back and forth. And at last check, South Mildura had retaken the lead. So we'll just get an update in a second.
Chance here for Imps. Well, backwards from Douglas. So Brian. Now Lasky as well. Spins out of the Hills tackle. Handball sequences here for Imps. Talis Buntain switching kick. Tries to find the man across the ground in Forbes. May have copped a bump high. Umpire lets it go. Guided it well. Lasky's handball off to Ogden. Runs towards inside 50. Scott's the target off hands from Harradine in defence. But Scott picks it up around the corner. It's narrow. Through for a minus score. In fact, I think it's 6-6. 42 for Imperials. I reckon the boys on the scoreboard have got the wrong behinds there to 6-8-44. 2 points in it. And this one at number 3 oval. We've gone 17 and a half minutes here on Hot FM Footy. Hooker brings the ball back in with a short, stabbing pass looking for Dodds. gets hit front on and will be a free kick. John Hollywood for Fatty Boomba down on the boundary. What are the instructions coming from the respective coaches' boxes?
Look, the instructions are quite clear. Nothing's really changed. Obviously, control that ball out of defence and careful going forward. Look, I do believe it's still a couple of goal breeze or favouritism. So Merbein have got to need a couple for me to certainly stay in this game. But kicks like that, I'm not sure.
Scott Bedford, nice kick up along the wing to Lockall, who marks. He's got Lockyer on the run. He's got two players to kick it towards. Scrambles it in the direction of one who's collected later. Was Trooper Bedford. His kick, though, is perfect over the goal umpire's hat. So the Pies get a nice end-to-end goal.
Lovely work there from Merbein. Their coast-to-coast footy has been great today. Trooper Bedford hasn't had much of a sniff of it. Under pressure, that's a really good finish again. The kicking down the ground has been great. It's now a 8-point lead here for Merbein. Now 7-8-50, leading Imperials 6-6-42 on the Kumiala Club scoreboard. Ball comes back to the middle of the ground. And again, Johnny, I know we said earlier, like the Carlos ball, but Merbein, when they keep the eyes down and find short targets, they're moving the ball quite nicely.
Yeah, they move beautifully when they concentrate like that, don't they? There's certainly no doubt about that. The leading forward's been really good when they've looked short.
So back in the middle of the ground, Burns. Clearing handball here for Imps. Donohue's going to get there first. The bounce gets away from him. Evades the Galbraith tackle nicely. Here's a chance here for Scott Bedford again. On the run. Silky kick inside 50. Riley Buntain, second bite of the cherry. Really good intercept grab.
The Bedford blitz into the Buntain blockade.
He's absolutely nailed it. His kick across the ground finds McHugh. Opens it up at Handstock. Drops it while he's sliding at ground level. He's got Callahan for help. Smith's there for Merbein. Stevens also there in support. 50 metres out at half forward. Scrambles a handball out for Vinnie Rhodey, who kicks inside 50. Lockyer dropped one he should have taken. Follows up at ground level. May have been held. Umpire lets it go. In fact, he's held Buntain the other direction quite comfortably. Imps get it going. Don't waste any time, and Burns taps it to his own advantage.
That's now in the hands of O'Dwyer. He's had plenty of it, but he's got two Magpies tackling him, including Cooper Bedford, and it's out of the contest there from Hill. Sends it towards goal, but just across the face. It was a long-range effort.
Geez, a lot of effort from both teams going both ways, but little reward going there. Now a 9-point lead on the board for Merbein. 51 plays 42. Kumiala Club scoreboard. Important there for Bedford. They kick inside 50. Douglas, kick out of defence. She puts some real heat there on Riley Buntain, who slips over. Just gets a handball off in time. Good pressure from Rhodey. Out of bounds again. Yes,
around the grounds for who we going around the grounds for?
We'll go Fatty Boomba.
Fatty Boomba. South Mildura 7-3-45, leading Wentworth 5-4-34. And Robinvale used to 19 points up over Owen United, and Mildura 17 points up over Ironimple.
Not too much in all these games here today is Lockall. Grabs it out of the ruck. His handball's cut off by Douglas. Amos Felton bumped off the footy. Now here's Lockyer around the corner. 3 goals in the term for Nigel Lockyer. And Merbein have extended it to a team high 15 points in this one. Nice work by the Magpies to get themselves further ahead. 57 plays 42 on the Kumiala Club scoreboard. He just seems to have plenty of time when he's got the footy in hand, DFAB.
Absolutely, and he's really come into the game this quarter, hasn't he? Up forward, just they've made a target of him as well. They're making a really concerted effort to just get it in his vicinity and to let the magic happen.
Certainly are. Might go to Max the Axe Hollingworth. Maxie, what are Nigel Lockyer's numbers for this term?
Nigel Lockyer's had 6 possessions and 3 goals for this quarter.
Gee, very impressive for him. What about Will O'Dwyer? 22 touches to half time, but it's been quieter so far this term.
Yeah, Will O'Dwyer's had 3 possessions for this quarter.
Certainly managed to quell his influence a bit here, Merbein. It looks like it might be Angus Smith who's running with him there at the moment. It's back into the centre of number 3 oval. Ricks with the tap. Nice handball there from Hills. Opens up for Bedford. Gets a 1-2 with Smith. Second touch as many moments there for Bedford. Lockall going back with the flight off hands. Lamos Felton's at ground level. Nice handball from Rhodey over the top. Can Merbein get another one here? Kicking through. It's just the wrong side there from Trooper Bedford. Kicked one in a tackle before, this time across the face, and just a minor score. It's now 8-10-58 for Merbein, 6-6-42 Imperials. The last few going the way of the Pies, DFAB. They built some nice momentum with 22 minutes gone in the third term.
Yep, really throwing down the gauntlet to the home side, Merbein at the moment. As Imps will try and get it out of defence. It's favouring Hooker the kick, but Buntain forces it towards Scott. He's got nowhere to go, so he goes defensively. The kick away. Harradine just arrives to ensure it goes over the boundary line, so we'll get a ball in on the wing.
Johnny on the boundary. Imperials at every opportunity are looking for the run past handball, and while it works for them when they've got the space going against the wind, it's put them in trouble a few times.
Yeah, look, it has. They obviously get away with it because normally their skill set's really, really good and their run and carry's great. But when there's pressure on, obviously mistakes come in.
Spoiled in the contest on centre wing by Harradine. It's mopped up by Dodds for Merbein. Awkward kick to mark, but gee, that's a good grab by Scott Bedford going back with the flight. Awkward one because he didn't know what was coming in the other direction. He's got a man centre half forward. He's told to play on now, right in front of our commentary position. Along the boundary line. Spears in looking for Lockyer. Spoiled across the line. Might have copped a bit of a corky from that kick there, Bedford. A little slow to get up, but looks like he's moving okay. Maxie, what are Bedford's numbers for this term?
Scott Bedford's had 9 possessions for this quarter so far.
Having a real influence on this game, DFAB up to 27 for the game now.
Absolutely, he's been everywhere in this contest as we get it thrown in, and Riley Burns getting a bit of a breather with Talis Bartain in the ruck, and he's given away the free kick, so it'll be Corey Lockall with a chance. He's just inside the 50-metre arc. He could probably bend this one nicely, you reckon?
Yeah, his distance won't be an issue for Corey Lockall here. Just, I think, panicked a little bit in the ruck there. Buntain grabbed the bigger man in the contest. So Lockall was equal leading goal kicker with Lockyer coming into this one with 10 for Merbein. Yet to kick one so far today. Just inside the 50, 45-degree angle. Sets it out to the left and massages it through perfectly. And Merbein now out to another game-high lead. They're up to 9-10-64. 18 points ahead of Imps, 6-6-42 on the Kumiala Club scoreboard. Important goal there for the Pies. Nicely finished in the end, and you've got to take advantage of the free kicks when you get them, DFAB, on days like today.
Absolutely, and there's someone that can take advantage. Obviously, you said he hadn't got a goal to that point, so you don't need to invite him into kicking a goal from that area.
John Hollywood for Fadi Bumba on the boundary. Could be really important for Merbein getting this extra bit of a lead now, especially if that rain ends up hitting in the final term.
Oh, look, definitely. I think they had to go into three-quarter time in front, no doubt about it. But sometimes we don't talk about coaching enough. Hawley called about 7 minutes ago, and he dragged the big fella off Rixie and said, right, we want him off. We want him to be able to go back on when the big fella from Imps has got to go off. And the last 5 minutes, they've been dominating for that reason. So Burns has now just come back on. But that's that change. That's that coaching sometimes.
Yeah, Damien Hall, of course, in his second campaign here at Merbein. Winless last year, DFAB. Potentially staring down the start of a 3-1 season in 2026 if they can hang on from here today.
Yes, very impressive start up to this point as we get the restart underway. Rix v Burns is on again. Rix gets the hand to that one, but a secondary hit out, if you will, for Burns. That flows to the advantage of Ibs. The free kick's called the way of Fitzpatrick, who's, I don't know if this is his fourth clearance of the quarter, but if it's a free kick, we'll count it.
Long inside 50. Nearly a mark going back with a flight there from Scott, but mopping up the loose ball is Hooker. His kick had a bit much juice on it for Donahue, but he'll get lucky. Arm around the body there from O'Dwyer, gives away the free kick. Immediately handballs off to Hills, the captain, which is a strong surging lead from Lockyer. He made about 50 metres on that one. Takes it just inside the boundary line between the interchange gates. Left foot kick inside 50's not looking great. Bedford appeared from nowhere. Contested mark. Pops it a goal. That is class. What an outstanding finish. Almost laconic in nature, DFAB. Just floated into the contest, took the mark, and as easy as you like, pops through his second goal of the quarter.
Yeah, Trooper Bedford, sensational. He was nice and relaxed in that situation and didn't let the moment get to him at all.
You have got to be kidding me, don't you?
You had the perfect
Seriously?
position for that one, Johnny Hollywood, looking at it. He floated in from about 5 metres away, took the mark, and almost like no one was near him, just potted on into goal.
But what about the work rate from the centre half forward to push up to centre wing like that? A 55-metre lead at least. Full pace, marks on his chest, just nonchalant, bang, turn it around.
That's very, very impressive. 5 goals for the term now for Merbein. That's more than they had to half-time. Kick forward for Imps. It's going to be cut off again by Hooker. He's had a stack of it in this game. Handballs off to Colin Mao. Around the corner, pops it up. Donahue's got a chance. Couldn't quite take it. They can follow up again at ground level. Happy just to parry it in front. See it across the boundary line for a throw-in. Just Imperials side of the interchange gates. And Merbein players are quite happy to get into Riley Burns at the moment. Really getting at it. Ogden and Ferraris going at it. I reckon umpires pulled out a free, and it's going to go the way of the home side. The Queenslander Ogden's going to get the free. Ready to turn and go again. Just got to be careful not to do too many silly things. to cut out this 28-point lead they've established here, DFAB.
Yeah, just a few too many jumper grabs there from Ferraris as the kick forward towards 50 for Ibs. It goes to the deck and it's just kicked out at the back for a collect there from Galbraith. That's Toby. His kick, though, wobbles over the boundary line, so that'll go back the other way.
Just a bit of a panic kick in the end there from Toby Galbraith. Didn't really know who to go to. Fortunately for him, got carried with the breeze. Rhodey at half-back for Merbein. 10-10-70 for Merbein. Imperials 6-6-42. In fact, Merbein's kicked 6 goals in this quarter compared to the 4 they had in the first half. Down the line, Harradine and Burns both on the deck. Up for...
They don't miss an opportunity to give Riley Burns a shove, do they?
No, they've absolutely been into him the whole time. It's a free for a Shepherd off the ball here, going the way of Merbein. As I think Vinny Rhodey's come down with a big old cramp. Big old cramp down in the calf. Meanwhile, Burns inside 50. Big fly from multiple players at ground level. Fox is there, keeps his feet. Hasn't got a lot to go to. Oh, he's going to get a free kick for high. Thought he may have ducked into that one. The Merbein defence agreed. But he's going to get a free kick. And right on the three-quarter time siren too.
Do they need this?
They absolutely do. We know Jaden Fox is an absolutely beautiful kick at goal. Has not got one yet today. And how important would this one be, DFAB, if he can split the uprights, but tight on that left forward pocket angle.
Fox deep into the boundary. He's got to work this one perfectly. Starts it to the left and it's going to stay there.
Out on the full.
It's gone out on the full.
Absolutely.
And it's on in the middle at the moment. A bit of a scrap.
They are absolutely going for it, and both teams quite happy to let each other know about it here as well. So with that out of bounds on the full shot from Jaden Fox, the score at three-quarter time sees Merbein 10-10-70, leading Imperials 6-6-42 on the Kumiala Club scoreboard. What a term there for Merbein. 6 goals to 1 to establish a 28-point lead at the final change. We're going to go back to the studio for some messages from our valued sponsors, and we've got a huge final term coming your way here on the home of live local sport in Sunraysia, 106.7 Hot FM. Three-quarter time of Hot FM Sunraysia footy sees Merbein 10-10-70, leading Imperials by 28 points. A massive blitz in that third term. 6 goals to 1 for the visitors. Certainly holding sway coming into the final quarter. However, the breeze is going to be in favour of the home side. Let's see who will take the most advantage coming through in this one. Looking at goal kickers for Merbein, Nigel Lockyer with 3, all coming in that third term. Absolutely electric in front of the big sticks. Trooper Bedford, Jordan Ackus with a couple each. Singles for Ash Rowe, Corey Lockwood and for Nate Bull. While for Imperials, Regan Scott, 3 goals all coming in the first half. Cooper Ogden with a couple and James O'Hare with 1. Mitch Rod, Michael D. Fabrizio up here in the box. We'll go to Maxi Axe Hollingworth for the numbers now. And Maxi, Nigel Lockyer, even though he didn't have a huge amount of the footy, was absolutely outstanding in that third term.
Yeah, Nigel Lockyer was great. He had 7 possessions, 2 marks, 1 inside 50 and 3 goals.
And that last goal that he kicked snapping over the shoulder was absolutely outstanding. What about Scott Bedford, who's just been so consistent across the game so far?
Yeah, Scott Bedford was great that quarter. He had 9 possessions, 2 marks, 1 tackle and 3 inside 50s.
9 possessions in every quarter so far in this game for Scotty Bedford. What about for the other 2 for Merbein?
Cooper Ogden, Kyle Stevens was a bit quieter. He had 2 possessions, while Vinny Rhodey was great with 7 possessions.
Yeah, Vinny's certainly been in and under everything at the moment. Now for Imperials, Willow Dwyer, 22 touches in the first half, but certainly quieter in that third term.
Yeah, Willow Dwyer was a bit quieter. He had 5 possessions, 1 mark and 1 inside 50.
All right, 1 and 3. That ends up being the case for Fatty Boombar. John Hollywood on the boundary. Johnny, which huddle did you head to at three-quarter time?
Yeah, I wanted to see what Brad Valance had to say, and I like to listen to blokes that can coach, and I knew exactly what he would say. I really did. I walked over knowing what he'd say. He ripped shreds off them and just said, this is a contest. If you don't like it, come off with me, basically. And then he said to them, we're going to win this game, and this is how we're going to do it. So perfect coaching for me.
And here we go, Imperials. Well, a chance to clear it to start the quarter, but Ogden's been caught holding the ball by his opposite number 23, Noah Hills. So Merbein with the first clearance here, and the final term went short to Ash Rowe. It's just at the edge of the centre square. Left half forward, spearing ball, was looking for Bull on the lead. Big man Riley Burns cuts across here for Imperials. For Colantini First National Real Estate, this is Hot FM footy in 2026. Big final quarter on the way. Trying to create space with Paddy O'Brien on the far side of the ground. He did well, the youngster. Gets a 1-2, but a big tackle by Lockyer affects the spoil. Meanwhile, Lasky there to help out. Forbes ripped down as well. Gee, the pressure is high from Merbein. Free kick paid advantage. It's Smith going inside 50 if it sits for Lockall. 1-on-1 in the forward 50. Great pickup. Handball running over the top. Scott Bedford, open goal square. Puts it over into the primary school on the far side of the ground. Says, cop that, fellas. Margin out to 34 points now for the Magpies.
Jeez, I tell you what, the car there got the fright of its life. That ball was kicked onto the road. It bounced in front of the vehicle as it's driving along. Scott Bedford didn't wanted to put that one well beyond any doubt.
Gee, put absolute emphasis on that one going across the ground. Feel sorry for whoever's got to actually go and fetch it, especially with the Kenworth coming in the other direction down San Mateo Avenue there as well. John Hollywood again. It's just the running in waves there for Merbein and the pressure that was on that worked for that goal.
Yeah, look, young legs. Obviously, we had Cole Stevens on this wing and pushed across to the other wing, and then him and Gus Smith combined together the long sleeve jumpers. They were fantastic there. Young Gussie's playing a great game.
He certainly is, and could mistake it for twins, really, the two of them. They look quite similar, DFAB, similar stature. So both wearing the sleeves. Both had good games so far today.
Yes, there's a little one's just crossed the road to collect the ball, and I think some of the traffic is stopped to let them through, which is very nice.
Wonder if part of the new designs they might have to go down the Kenny Park route of actually having the taller fence behind the goals, which of course goes over the back of the road there on the way out to Wentworth.
Well, they've got the flying magpie on there. They're
big
nice. Well, I'm not sure what a giant imp looks like, but they could give it a go.
As the ball's retreated back into the field of play now. Gone just over 2 minutes, but I think the majority of that was actually fetching the ball from the other side of the pine. So probably only about 30 seconds of game time gone, but what an important goal that was for Merbein to start the final term. 11-10-76 for them. Imp 6-6-42 on Kumiala Club's scoreboard. Home side really have to make a statement here in the next couple of minutes. Burns gets the first tap out. Sharked though by Rhodey. He's immediately taken by Fitzpatrick. Stalemate still in the centre of the ground. Just seems like they've got all the energy at the moment, Merbein, but again, they're going against the breeze, and we know this Imperials side can absolutely kick away if they get the chance. Here's Lasky, long down the ground. Umpire's going to pay downfield, I think. Free's going to go the way of Brad Valance, I think, as Ash Rowe got shoved over in there as well, but Valance will be the recipient of the ball. Left half forward. Be about 30 metres out by the time he kicks it. Slight angle. In fact, I think it might be Regan Scott who's actually got the ball in hand. Going to look for goal number 4 for this game. Be a very important kick here for Big Reggie. On the runway. Looks good off the boot. That's an important one. 4 for Scott. Imps pull that margin back after the early conceded goal. 7-6. 54 for them. Imperials, Merbein, 11-10-76 on the Kumiala Club scoreboard. Just got to be careful, DFAB. You want to keep the pressure on, but sometimes those free kicks where you just hit them a little bit too late can be costly.
Yep, that's right. Only a split second in it, but came in a bit too late, and the result is a quick response to the early goal for Merbein, which means Imps don't lose all that momentum from that three-quarter time rev up.
Yeah, Johnny, I like the move from Imperials of Aaron Lasky going into the centre in this final term rather than half-back.
Yeah, he's a wonderful player. He's very smart, so you whack him in there. Look, it's really tough in there at the moment. Look, I think the key to this game is the 2 ruckman boys.
Certainly is, as Imps are going to go forward again, this time through Forbes. Mills, front position, through his hands. Page at the back, one-on-one there with Valance. Look away handball, went to no one. There's the Imperials coach, just gets a handball off. In fact, it's called an illegal disposal. Nice work there from Page, who especially DFAB in the absence of Justin Frankel today, leading to the defensive line.
Absolutely, although wasn't on his line according to the umps, so he's got to get reload from half-back. But, yeah, very much looking forward to the ruck contest in this final quarter. A couple of clean hit-outs to Burns so far as we see Merbein switch to the other side of the ground, and they've got Hooker. He goes for the short option, and they'll just not casually, but just assess their options and move the ball carefully at the moment, the Pies. Trooper Bedford really came to life in that third quarter. Sits it up for Lockyer, who's in a world of space, but is 55 metres from goal, so his kick has to be nice. It goes just towards the edge of the square, and it's kicked from Ackers. He snapped it. It's marked on the line by Smith, who snaps and goals.
What a big response there from Merbein. Again, the measured kicking down the line was outstanding. And great work from their forwards to open up space for Lockyer. His kick wasn't the ideal one inside 50, but right place, right time for Angus Smith. Gets his first on the board. Merbein re-established that 34-point lead. Looking in very, very good shape at the moment.
Excuse me there, boys.
Johnny Hollywood on the boundary.
That running down the line, it did look casual. That's probably a word, but it's not a word you probably want to use. It's probably more controlled. You were just not used to seeing them that controlled. That was fantastic. Normally their skills let them down a little bit under pressure, but they just took their time then, and they made it look casual. They really did.
And it looked like, Johnny, the running patterns of the Merbein forward line to open up space for Lockyer really created that goal.
Yeah, that was better running, wasn't it? And they all come up and pushed up, and that gives a chance for Gus Fizz to go back when he had to from half forward.
It all started with O'Dwyer in the centre there for Imperials. Bryce Hards at half forward. He's had a dirty day by his lofty standards. Right foot kick inside 50, however, gives a chance to Jaden Fox. Well done by Mao to help bring it to ground. Harradine's handball misses Stevens. He's got some pressure on. Couldn't keep his feet. Scooped out. Big tackle on Ogden by Dodds. Now here's Fitzpatrick around the corner. Chance for O'Hare.
Well done.
Really good mark over the back. It's an awkward one to take coming over the shoulder. Wheels around.
Oof, big lord.
Geez, missed it. I reckon he's put it into the post. Gee, that was a huge opportunity missed there for Imps, who's just going to get a minor score on the board. 7-7-49. Merbein 12-10-82 Kumiala Club scoreboard.
Some real good forward pressure in that chain of play there from Imps, and probably they would have really wanted to just execute at the last step and get another quick response, but on this occasion just the behind, so they're going to have to find another way to go.
He took it very quickly in the end, did O'Hare, but he actually had the space to work with. It was just, in the end, poor connection. As Dodds and Rhodey work it out of half-back here for Merbein. Nice work there from O'Brien, from Imps, who got front position. Unfortunately for him, it busted through the Dukes. Out of bounds right in front of the Kumiala Club scoreboard. Sees that it's a 33-point lead to Merbein. If my maths is correct, on the far side of the ground. A great day here for the Pies so far. Imps, can they have the ultimate home opening party? They need to find something from here if they can. Rhodey's caught dead holding the ball. Nice work by the youngster. O'Brien, meanwhile, goes inside 50 for Imps. But Hooker, front position, just judged it nicely. Kick wasn't great. He's got a man open in space in Smith. Well picked up there by Galbraith. Well done by Smith, who follows up with the tackle. Gets the free kick for holding the ball. He's had a great day, the youngster.
Just stayed with it and didn't let Galbraith get away with that one. So nicely done from Smith, and really just stepping up to the occasion as some of these impressive Merbein players that are on the rise and making a bit of a statement early in this season. Harradine, he just switches to the centre of the back line with Hooker, who pushes it out to the other side. Is that Mao that he's found over there?
Might be Dodds, I think.
Dodds. He looks and finds another teammate there in Rhodey.
Happy just to play possession football at the moment, Merbein. It's too early to time waste, but you can still hold control of the ball. Had to go down the line. Bull did well to get front position in this contest and follows up at ground level brilliantly, the big man. High up and under kick. Maybe to push in the contest, umpire says it was. Free kick going to go the way of Ackers, who's had a good second half here for the Pies. Kick inside 50, Lockall the target. Tallis Buntain thumps it towards the boundary. Bull's there, however. Handballs off to Lockall, shrugs the tackle, looks down the line, and hits Lockyer lace out. This Merbein forward line defab are firing on all cylinders, all reading from the same hymn sheet.
Absolutely, as Lockie's really come to life in this second half, has another opportunity here to add to his goal tally. And just all things going Merbein's way at the moment.
What was Bull doing roving the ball, boys?
That was absolute bull, I'll tell you that, Johnny, as Lockyer made the goal umpire work, but it is still through the middle. His fourth goal of the second half, outstanding from him. Merbein extend that lead further. We'll say too, Johnny, on the boundary for Fatty Boomba, Jordan Ackers, I reckon he's had a pretty good game here today, the youngster.
Yeah, he's a good player, isn't he? He's actually quite smart and he does all the right things. He tries really hard. And though he might not have been on the stat sheet in that third half, he was working really hard and he laid some tackles.
Some Imperials with got to answer all the questions being thrown at them at the moment. One gets some scores from around the ground, so that's tight at Mildura Sporting Precinct DFAB. Just the 4 points in it at the moment between Wentworth and South Mildura. So just wait for that to load up again. Burns with a tap down, got to clear it quickly. Valance has put himself in the middle of the ground, providing a big body, but Bedford keeps his feet nicely. Pettit with the overlap run. Kick down the line, he's going to get a free downfield for the late hit.
That was on Scott Bedford.
Oh, it is? No, ball's actually coming back to Aaron Lasky, so I'm wondering if it might have been a throw in there somewhere. He's not wasting any time. Long looking for Fox.
Nice.
Read it perfectly. Going to run into the open goal. His first of the day, and what a timely one that was for Imperials. Going to pull that margin back to 33 points now. Still a fair bit of work to do for the Green Machine DFAB, but that's one way of doing it, putting Lasky and Valance in the middle of the ground.
Absolutely. Around the grounds, Wentworth with the 4-point lead, as you mentioned, 8-8-56 to South Mildura, 8-4-52. So close one there, and it's a 2-point game out at Euston. Romvale Euston 11-11-77, Odin United 11-9-75. So it's also a 16-point lead to Mildura against Dalrymple. So close games everywhere. Although this one could be a bit of work to do for Imps to make it close.
Certainly could be. Johnny Hollywood, I like the move as well of Brad Valance putting himself in the middle, just providing a bit of size through there.
Well, not just size, attitude. He obviously gets in there, he's grumpy, he's coaching this side, he's not happy with how it's going, I'm going to change it. I like that too.
Well, it wasn't the closest umpire. In fact, it was the umpire from further away. Saw a free kick for a high tackle there on Nate Bull.
And he got the hit out against Burns before that as well, so he's rising in confidence in this game.
Certainly is. Left foot kick to half forward. Ferraris is at the back, over his head. Lamos Felton just gets a handball away as he's tackled. Nice work from Trooper Bedford to get a handball away. The hyphen going again. Handball off to Rowe. Deep in the left forward pocket. Ambitious kick towards goal. May work for Lockyer. Taps down with one Duke. Back towards Rowe. It's going to spill kindly here for Imperials. Lasky's kick outside of the boot. Chaos ball didn't look great. May work. And Ogden spins nicely in pressure. Looking for Scott. He's got Page for company as well. Got up by Lee Page just to get it going back the other way. In fact, umpire's going to pay holding the ball to try to force his way through. Great tackle there from Imps. Their pressure's not relenting, DFAB. If they can get the ball moving quickly, it'll work. Handball was no good for Ogden. Under real heat. Handball comes forward. Burns. Caught one high. So Scott had to handball quickly. So I reckon he caught one to the ribs, I reckon, on the way through. Meanwhile, Douglas fumbles the ball he normally handle. Ogden just gets it off in time. Gee, the pressure is enormous from both sides. Page off to Donahue. Trooper Bedford. Look away handball. Cut off here by Mills. Gee, barely got the handball away. It's tough work for everyone, including the commentary box. Tackle over the line there from Merbein. We'll get a boundary throw in. Gee, DFAB, that was a hard passage of play to look at.
Absolutely, yes. A lot happening and a lot of hard tackles, which is what you want to see in the fourth quarter of a game like this, with the game to be won. It's a ball in, grabbed out of the ruck in the end by Burns. He's got Lasky running, although he's swung around in the tackle and didn't have a lot of great options, so it's recovered by Rowe. Eden charging there is Rhodey. The ball movement out of this is looking nice at the moment. Stevens is the recipient from Dodds. As Merbein just send it towards half forward. It's just going to bounce into some space. Hills and it looks like Lockyer's going to get there first.
Bang.
Nice, don't argue. He puts it into the forward pocket, but it's claimed by Imps.
Big fly here from Stevens at the back of the pack. Two players had their hands to it. The umpire lets it go. And we will have a stalemate. John Hollywood on the boundary. Just a piece of play before, I reckon, where Imps were trying to go forward. Massive tackle, and then the handball away from Ash Rowe. Really probably saved a goal going the other way.
Yeah, look, it certainly did. Nash got it twice in that period. He got up and bounced around like a young man would, not an old man. But I tell you what, these footballers nowadays, they're brave. Seriously, that patch of footy in front of me, I almost jumped over the fence and run and hide.
It's hard work from both sides, really trying to make the most of it at the moment. Imperials need to really get the next strike on the board. Handball from O'Dwyer has been quieter in this second half. Little tap there from Lasky was clever. Big kick down the ground, balanced the target. Harry Dean one-on-one with him. Bounce might favour Mills here at the back. It does. He's got some speed. Little kick down the line is good if it sits for Fox. He's got the break here on Mao. Stops, props, don't argue. Running inside 50, hard on the boundary. Umpire said he's run too far. Gee, I think that's harsh on Jaden Fox. Very harsh, but in the end, the free kick's going to go the way of Merbein. Just trying to create something there, DFAB, and in the end, umpire deemed he took a step too far.
Yep, it was a nice passage of play.
Gee, I think that was rough.
That is the call, so it's Merbein switching on the last line of defence and sharing the ball around well. Mark taken.
Stevens
it is, and they're just happy to move it a bit slower if they can. As the kick intercepted, though, this Galbraith gets it back. He just goes for the low kick, making O'Dwyer work for it, but can't collect in time for the boundary line. So we get a ball in just near the 50-metre arc, Imperials end of the ground.
You're probably hearing the effects, Mike. That wind's starting to pick up a little bit more, which could be advantageous for Imperials. 15 and a half minutes gone on this final term, but ball spent a bit of time out of the fence, so it's going to be a fairly long final quarter, you'd feel. Ogden's handball into space for Imps. Cut off by Dodds, who just gets one off in time. Cutter here through O'Dwyer. That's a good handball inside 50. He's looking for McHugh. Cut off by Hooker. The chaos ball's worked. It's bounced through everyone. Nice work from Ackers on the wing. He gets taken to ground level. Lamos Felton there trying to bust his way through, as is Trooper Bedford for Merbein. Rowe, handball into space. It's going to favour Imps. O'Dwyer bumped off the footy. Fitzpatrick's got space. He can turn some time inside 50. Fox has got to beat 3 of them. He might do. Ground level, Jaden Fox. Big tackle at the end, gets a handball away. Hards flying the flag for his teammate, but numbers in the end win out for the Magpies, only just in the end. The desperate defending DFAB saving more than one goal in this final term.
Yeah, it was good from Page to just lay the pressure there on Fox to not let him get a kick away, as in front of the scoreboard the ball gets held up and umpire says give it to me. So really just holding down the fort at the moment, Merbein with the 33-point lead. As the restart, Ball has been very good in the ruck up against Big Riley Burns. That's his third clean hit out that I've seen in this little stint in the ruck in big moments in the fourth quarter.
I guess that's probably the difference. Riley Burns is almost shouldering the ruckload single-handedly with the very slight chop out every now and again, whereas Ricks and Bull have been quite happy to work it a bit more. Burns does win that tap down though, an important one. Douglas, handball out. Cooper Penny's handball missed the intended target, but Galbraith still kicks it forward. Nice mark from Valance on the lead. Just outside 50. With this breeze, distance is certainly not a problem for him, but he's looking for short options. He's got one in O'Hare. Kicked a really good goal at this end in the second term. He's telling the umpire what to do on the mark. Handballs off to Bryce Hards, who just sits it to the top of the square. Nothing kick in the end. Off hands from Mao. Jaden Fox. That's a big goal. Really big goal there for Imps, his second of the final term. And that margin is going to be pulled back to 27 points. Colin Mao would probably like that time again there, DFAB, but Fox in the box was in the right place at the right time.
Exactly right, yeah. Very awkward time for it to be slipping through the fingers like that and landing in the presence of Jaden Fox, who knows what to do in that situation. Might
go around the grounds with some score updates here again from DFAB. John Hollywood on the boundary for Fatty Boomba. We just know this Imperials team can never be counted out in these kind of situations, especially when you've got someone as dangerous as Jaden Fox up forward.
Oh, look, definitely. And Brad Valance putting himself in the centre. Look, he can't do this for the whole game. He knows that. But he can do it for 10, 20 minutes, and he's doing it right now.
Back into the centre of the ground. Ball with a tap down again for Merbein, but Douglas takes it for Imps. Lasky, long kick inside 50. O'Dwyer resting forward now. He's got Hooker for company. He keeps his feet beautifully. Will O'Dwyer on the run. He's waiting to swing it.
Oh, no.
And
collected late.
Lee Page came across to put the pressure on, and he's hit him afterwards. Now, the ball was behind in the end, so it's going to go back to where he kicked it from. A tough angle in this pocket, but people have worked it well in this game so far, and DFAB still some close contests around the grounds so far.
Absolutely, yeah. 4-point lead, 62-58 for Wentworth over South Mildura, and 11-point lead for Oyen United over Robinvale Euston, and it's down to 8 points. Mildura lead over Irimple.
Gee, Robinvale Euston wouldn't have thought they'd be staring down the barrel of an 0-3 start to this year. O'Dwyer, geez, nailed that. Picture perfect, that kick at goal. Important one, margin back to 21 points now.
What a costly free.
Absolutely. 13-10-88, Imperials 10-7-67 on the Kumiala Club scoreboard. In fact, there's some discussions on the last line. I'm wondering what's going on there.
Is it not a double? Surely not.
I think there might be a free kick again on the last line.
Well, I thought the last one was costly. If there's another one, that would be something else entirely.
Not entirely sure what's happened off the ball there, but Jaden Fox from the top of the square will kick his third in the final quarter, and in the blink of an eye, the margin has now moved back to 15 points. And we know that's absolutely manageable from here. We just said before, DFAB, you've got to be careful not to give away too many frees, and unfortunately for Merbein, a few costly errors in the matter of 5 minutes have brought Imps right back into this
Well,
contest.
the O'Dwyer one was it was painful because we saw the result. He kicked it behind, so it wasn't going through for a goal, and then you give him the second chance, and a player like that isn't going to waste a second chance. But then to give him a second chance on top of the second chance is something else entirely.
Might have a look, Maxie, with numbers for Will O'Dwyer in this final quarter so far.
Will O'Dwyer's had 6 possessions this quarter so far.
Certainly back up to best that he showed in the first half. Can Merbein stop the rot here? Ricks gets the clearing kick forward. Trooper Bedford leads the race. Gathers it himself. Just gets a handball off in time. Nice work there from Donahue to push O'Brien off the ball. Now Hills. Overlap running here from Ferraris outside of the boot. Might work for Smith. Picks it up on the bounce. Kick to the top of the square.
Whoa.
Perfectly done in the end. Wackle, right place, right time. And under immense pressure coming the opposite way in the last 5 minutes, Steve Fab. Again, Smith doing the hard work and Lockle finding himself in the right spot.
Absolutely. Had to really dive at that one. Bit of a slips catch in the end for Lockle, but had the separation and was in the right side of the contest to take a mark, and not much angle to work with here. He should be able to convert this.
So Lockle only 25 metres out. Jeez, has not hit that well. Normally a beautiful set shot at goal, Corey Lockle, but that one has hooked across the face. And just a minor score. Just goes to show the pressure that's on right now.
The door's just staying open, isn't it?
16 points at the moment. 13-11-89 for Merbein. 11-7-73 Imperials. Long down the line.
Nice
Gee, that's
mark.
a good mark by Lockyer. Had his name all over it. Kicks to centre half forward. It's an ugly one. It's floated and landed in the lap of Angus Smith at centre half forward, who's just telling his teammates, boys, stop, settle down. Let's take a bit of time off the clock and kick long down the line. Good maturity from the young man.
Yeah, that's it. A bit of clock management and a nice one there to work into
Beautifully
Hills
done.
for another mark. And they'd be happy if they could just keep sharing it around at half forward like this for a couple of minutes to take a bit of time off the clock. But Hills might back himself from here.
He's normally a pretty good kick of the footy, Noah Hills, and he gets a chance at goal. And deceptively long kick. Also, he started his life as a tagger in senior footy at Mildura before crossing over to Merbein a few years ago. Lee Page is also just running past on the outside. Don't know what the key defender's doing, saying give it to me. Be 55 from home by the time he makes connection. Left half forward. Gives it a roost. Gives it a real roost. Not quite making the distance.
Oh, he's got it.
Huge contested mark on the last line. This time from the top of the square. Puts it through. That's his second of the game. His second of the second half. Huge mark, huge goal. Potentially a huge result here for Merbein.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's a real nice, strong mark there from Lockle with everyone crowded in that goal square, expecting it to go there, and he just made it his own.
Bafati Boomba, John Hollywood on the boundary. Johnny, you just felt it could have got away from Merbein there for a few minutes, a few reckless acts, but some great work and some cool heads have resulted in an important goal.
Yeah, sorry there. The cool head. Who did the cool head come from? Probably the youngest Merbein kid on the ground. He just held it up and said, just wait, we'll waste some time, I'll find an option. And he found his captain, 40 metres on his own.
Beautifully done in the end from Angus Smith, but of course that mark from Nigel Lockyer in the middle of the ground was massive. 14-11-95 for Merbein. 22-point leaders over Imperials, 11-7-73. Might get some more updates from around the grounds here, DFAB, especially the games out at Euston and at MSP. They're tight.
3-point lead now to Wentworth at the MSP. Still 11 points at Euston. And in the other game, it's an 8-point lead to Mildura over Ivory.
She's tight there as well, as Imperials got the kick from the clearance inside 50. In the end, Michael Harradine's going to get a free for a high tackle there against Reggie Scott. Scott's done everything he could today. 4 goals on the board for him. Harrington happy just to take some time off the clock. 24 minutes gone in the final term, but this one will go for a while. Ground level, Cooper Penny. Handball away, Hills. Clearing handball, Lockyer. Little kick off the ground. He's going to be given a free against for kicking in danger. So Buntaine's going to be the recipient. Immediately plays on Tallis Buntain. Long inside 50. Harradine dropped a mark he should have taken. Followed up well at ground level with the tackle. Just make sure Scott can't go anywhere. Stalemate inside 50. The rain's held off so far, DFAB, but it's probably a good sign for this game. I reckon Merbein would probably be quite happy if it came down at this point in time.
Yes, that's the case, and a bit of a hold there in the contest. So that'll be a Merbein free kick in defence, and you imagine they might just take a bit of an opportunity to chip it around if they can.
Yeah, Ricks decides to handball it off, which is interesting to Scott Bedford, who dances around Jaden Fox. Wants someone to come at him. Fox still not giving up the chase. Bedford long down the line. It's going to be out of bounds on the full, but at least it's taken a good 10 seconds off the play clock. Going to be the youngster Paddy O'Brien to bring it back into play here for Imps. Directly in front of our commentary position. Right half forward here for the Green Machine. He's got a short option on him. Douglas decides he's just going to go long. Who can take the contested mark? Valance is there. So's Burns. Ogden at ground level. Tapped away from him. Big Riley did well in the contest. Little soccer from Valance is intercepted by Scott Bedford. Just gains territory. And it'll surely be paid deliberate. And it will be paid. No, in fact, boundary throw-in, I think. Probably got lucky there, Bedford, in the end, but obviously disguised it well enough with the kick. 22-point margin still in favour of the Magpies. Time ticking away in this one. Be a massive tap down here if Burns can win it for Imps. He does. Down to Fitzpatrick. Back to Douglas. Little left foot kick. Well, in fact, it's going to be a downfield free because he got bundled over after he kicked it. So, Valance. In fact, I think umpire said it's got to be Jack Mills who's going to take it. So, one with the headband. Hasn't had a lot of it today, the recruit. It's going to go long inside 50, fat side. Might be a good kick for Fox. Couldn't quite take it at ground level. Quick hands away. Lamos Felton there for Merbein. Intercepts the way. O'Hare. Sent it out the left-hand side. Too much in the end. Out of bounds on the full. And again, Merbein can take some time coming out of defence.
Just some desperate efforts at the moment from Ips to try and get something going. But it looks like Merbein will be the ones to hang on. Though we don't know how long the quarter will go with some of these long stoppages to retrieve balls from across the road and into the car park and all over the place.
It looks like there's about 1 minute of game time left in this one, so Merbein are going to be home and host, as are Wentworth, who have become the first team to knock off South Mildura this year. 3 points in the end, 9-8-62 over South, 9-5-59 at MSP.
So no more undefeated teams.
No more. Mildura have also won by 8 points against Dalrymple and Henshelwood Oval. The Swallows 1-3. Rare territory for them, but we also understand they are going to be a good team in the back half of the season. Big contested mark here. I think it might be Fitzpatrick for Imps, who wheels and goes inside 50. Up and under. Tapped away on the Merbein defence in Donahue. Rowe trying to bust his way through. Just gets a handball off in time. Hooker tries to bust away through. O'Brien's there. O'Dwyer with the handball as well to Lasky. Might be a smothered kick. No, it was smothered, yeah, because umpire said play on. Valance trying to bust through. Umpire lets it all go. There's a free for holding the ball. Going the way of Merbein and Ashrow, the recipient. Siren is just about to sound, you're feeling this one. And Merbein could have folded under some pressure, but the new look Magpies spoil the Imps party on the new home turf to get the job done. 14-11-95, 22-point winners over Imperials, 11-7-73. And for the first time since 2021, Merbein have won 3 of their first 4 games in the season. The boys from Kenny Park off to an absolute flyer at this one. They're going to head back to the studio, take some messages from our valued sponsors. Then myself, Mitch Rod, Michael Di Fabrizio, John Hollywood, and Max the Axe Hollingworth will wrap up all the action from number 3 Oval. We might flick back now. We'll take a few messages from our valued sponsors here on your home of live local sport in Sunraysia. We are Hot FM. Welcome back here on 106.7 Hot FM, where Merbein have pulled off an outstanding victory against Imperials. It's a brand new home deck here for the Green Machine. Home for the first time since making the permanent move across to number 3 Oval. However, the party was spoiled by the visiting Magpies. 14-11-95, defeating the Green Machine 11-7-73. 22 points, the final margin. A 6-goal to 1/3 quarter really was the game that broke it open there for Merbein, and they'll be very, very happy to be sitting 3-1 after their opening 4 games of the season. Nigel Lockyer kicking 4 goals for the Pies, all of them coming in the second half. A couple of goals each for Corey Lockwood, for Jordan Ackes, and for Trooper Bedford. Singles for Ash Rowe, Angus Smith, Scott Bedford, and Nate Bull. Looking across the page for Imperials, Regan Scott with 4 majors, 3 going the way of Jaden Fox, all in one turn. Will O'Dwyer with 1, James O'Hare with 1, Cooper Ogden also with a couple for them. Before we have our final wrap-up, we'll go for the last time today to Max the Axe Hollingworth for all the numbers. And Maxie, we'll start with Merbein, and the man who I reckon you probably got pretty high up in your rankings today, Scott Bedford.
Yeah, Scott Bedford was great today. He had 31 possessions, 6 sparks, 4 tackles, 6 inside 50s and 1 goal.
He was very, very good and in the clinches with everything. Vinny Rhodey, another great day for the former coach.
Yeah, Vinny Rhodey had 24 possessions, 8 marks, 1 tackle and 1 inside 50.
Kyle Stevens maybe quieter than his usual standards, but certainly was important out on the wing.
Yeah, Kyle Stevens had 15 possessions and 4 marks.
And Nigel Lockyer, we said to half-time he was pretty quiet, just the 3 disposals, I think, in the opening half, but how important was he in that third term?
Yeah, Nigel Lockyer was great. He had 16 possessions, 6 marks, 1 inside 50 and 3 goals.
And a beautiful mark late in the game too to ensure that Imps couldn't go further forward. Let's have a look to the other side of the sheet, and for the home side, they're going to be a good team, I reckon, this year, maybe missing a few troops today, but one man who's standing out is probably one of the recruits of the year already, I think, Willow Dwyer.
Yeah, Willow Dwyer was great today. He had 34 possessions, 3 marks, 1 tackle, 2 inside 50s and 1 goal.
Another one who's a very good addition for them in defence, Talis Buntain. Had a stack of it last week in the game against Mildura, not so much here today.
Yeah, Talis Buntain was solid. He had 11 possessions and 5 marks.
Certainly older brother Riley, I think, took most of the intercepting work from him. Cooper Ogden was solid across the game.
Yeah, Cooper Ogden was good today. He had 21 possessions, 1 tackle, 2 inside 50s and 2 goals.
One man who's probably down on his usual form, the McLeod medal winner Bryce Hards.
Yeah, Bryce Hards was quiet with just the 5 possessions today.
All right, and having a look through as well, who would you pick for your 3 votes today, Maxie?
Scott Bedford.
I reckon that's probably a fair call. Love your work as always, mate. Thanks for being with us here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure to have Max the Axe Hollingworth, the number 1 numbers man in the game. Going on 3 years now, which seems absolutely incredible here on the Hot FM airwaves. Mitch Rod, Michael Di Fabrizio and John Hollywood here to wrap up this one. Johnny, I guess first off, as a proud Merbein man, you must be over the moon to see the style in which the Magpies are playing with at the moment. Can have the freedom to move it forward, but the maturity to actually hold onto the ball in that second half when they had to hold it up a little bit further.
Look, I'm just really happy for the Merbein Footy Club in general, and I just think it adds to the league. That's what I'm excited about. Like, anyone can beat anyone. I know that Imps are going to be disappointed, but only for one reason. They didn't take their chances a couple of times. They didn't shut them down defence when they should have in that, that really vital third term with the wind and that sort of stuff. But they're a very, very good side, and they can beat anybody. So my perspective is that I love to see Merbein improve the way they have from last year to this year. No doubt about that. The committee and the club and the supporters all deserve that. The style of footy is wonderful. Why can't Lockyer play, or why couldn't he have been AFL level? I don't understand. Think about all the fitness attributes and everything else. He'd tick all those boxes. He'd vertical leap, kicking a ball, marking, touching.
IQ.
He bounces the ball without bouncing it. So he balls on the ground, he pushes it down so it bounces up with his hands. He's an amazing player.
Certainly got plenty of skills, and Paddy Silcock said it was off the air, DFAB, when he kicked those goals in the third quarter. No one sort of had that kind of presence coming into the competition, I reckon, for a while, who's played that level. Maybe McDonald tipped Woody a couple of years ago when he came in, but outside of that, we've had brilliant players come through, and you look at Daniel Coughlin who came in, but certainly different style of player.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's real excitement here for Merbein, and someone I think had mentioned, it's a little bit like Michael Miller, is it?
Yeah, Mount Miller.
Yeah, come down from Northern Territory back in the early 2000s when on the flags.
Yeah, and it's that combination with Scott Bedford as well, doing stuff up the ground as well, and there's just a real X factor about them this year, isn't there? Where they can, like Lockyer, in the first half, was there, was present, didn't really get the ball that much. But then in that third quarter, he just made the game his, didn't he?
Did he kick 3 in the third quarter?
3 in the third.
It was just amazing. And what did he get? 4 or 5 touches in that term to dominate the quarter with 4 or 5 touches.
Good marking as well. So.
Exactly. Now, we did, remember first round, Riddle sort of said to us, he believed he'd be the best recruit in the comp, and I sort of giggled and laughed.
We all scoffed at him, didn't we?
Because there were some big names coming in, blokes who played 250 game at Sandford level, This bloke's obviously done it as well, but certainly not at that capacity. But this bloke is, you want to see these blokes play, and this bloke can play anywhere. I don't care where he plays. And my thing, I don't know, how old is he now?
I reckon maybe early 30s.
Is he that old? Is he 28, 29? Is he back? Look, I know he's at the end of the side of his career, we know that sort of stuff, but geez, a young recruiting officer would have looked at him really hard, really tough, and sat there and thought, what can't he do? He's tough enough. He doesn't carry a lot of weight, but he's a 6'4" bloke. He's not a small man. And he runs like that, he kicks like that. Vision is unbelievable, and his vertical leap's incredible.
Absolutely.
28 years.
There
you go, still in prime, really, of his career.
For country level, he's going to be great.
Scott Bedford, you mentioned before, DFAB, and Maxi put down probably his player of the game. 31 disposals was absolutely outstanding. 18 to half time, just so consistent across the game. And I guess someone who's got not only the ability to accumulate, but he's also got the ability to lay the tackles, going through the two-way running, helps out his defence. to have an all-rounder in soccer terms, a box-to-box midfielder, I guess, going through.
Yeah, it's a good term. And just up and down the wings, he was getting it at both ends, and works hard and gets to the footy, and it just impacts the contest, doesn't it?
That's probably the best way to describe him in soccer terms, isn't it, realistically, because he likes to push back so he can actually get himself into the game. If the game's not under his terms, he'll push back to get the ball himself, so he can then control the game, and then he'll carry it forward and do everything else he needs to do. He's a wonderful player too, isn't he? He's got beautiful skills. He's cheeky too. Did you see him with big Riley Burns? Riley Burns put him down about 5 or 6 times. He didn't care. He didn't give a hoot. He just got up and got the ball another 10 times.
It speaks to his nature. Because
yeah, it
in
does.
the fourth quarter, he was running away from Jaden Fox, and Fox ran him down, and he just gave Fox a high five after and say, you know what, well done, you got me, that's good.
That's exactly.
It's a good attitude. But it's going to be exciting once you add McDonald and Woody into the forward line, because then Lockyer was pretty much forward 50 most of this game. I reckon he would probably push up the ground a little more and get his hands on it a bit more if Tipper was there up forward, and vice versa as well. So the options that gives him is pretty
Justin
powerful.
Smith, boys, what do you think?
Very, very impressive. I know we'd heard good raps from him coming out of the
hadn't we?
juniors coming through, and obviously at the big incident, I think it was last year where
we called that game. He got hurt really seriously the year before.
Big John O'Lee from Mildura.
That's right, was too. Well done.
Yeah, certainly left him quite sore and sorry for himself. And I reckon his body took a little while to recover from that. But gee, it looks like he's at home at this level at the moment as an 18-year-old right now. We know he's a very talented all-round cricketer at the moment too. But certainly footy's not slacking off there either.
Well, when you see young heads, I think the biggest thing they lacked in the second term event, they just couldn't control that ball against that wind. They couldn't control it like they normally would. They got a small forward line, they got a young forward line. They don't mind normally carting it and running and all that sort of stuff, but they couldn't mimic imps in the first term. But then they started doing it. They got control, they got composure, and it's blokes like young Gus that were smart. Like there's 4 minutes to go in a game. He's taking a mark and half forward. Everyone's yelling and screaming, and the kid didn't care. He's just controlling the game.
You see him signal.
He's waving them down. They're all pushing around. Everyone's just walking off. He then looks up and finds his captain 30 metres by himself. They actually tell the captain to sneak over, chips it over. That's just cool and calm. That's a kid that, hang on, I've got the ball. I've got the ball, so I control the game. I don't care who you are or what you are. I control the game, and that's just composure. And you can't teach that. They've either got it or they haven't.